Are we efforting Coach here?
I will.
Okay, so we'll be talking
You
to
you guys are live now on the stream, so you can log into that while I effort the coach.
Oh, we got to go back into it.
Oh, you got a new invite.
I didn't get.
It's been a little bit of an awkward start to the show. That's okay. We're going to talk to Sam Stanley here in just a couple minutes.
Good football coach, by the way.
Yeah, they're pretty good out there at Elkhorn North. They got a big game tonight, right?
He was.
Bennington?
Yeah, Bennington, and then Bennington's won 33, 34 in a row. 33?
33, I think. Yeah. I think last time we talked it was 32.
Yeah, 33 in a row. A lot of people think this one might be the one. So I'll be there. So that's the game I'm going to because it won my game of the week by a lot.
I'm sure we are going to get into it later as well, probably when we're talking to you during your normal segment. But Bennington they've had a couple games where they've been a little more vulnerable this year than they have been in years past. They're not quite as – they've had a lot – obviously you have a 33-game winning streak. You're going to have a lot of turnover over that part. But
offensively it's been a
little bit of a struggle.
A little bit.
More so than years. We're grading on a scale here. Yeah. Joining us now, Elkhorn North head football coach Sam Stanley. He's got that big game against Bennington tonight. Coach, how are you this morning?
Good. How are you guys doing?
We are doing well.
Wow, you're all business right now. Feel like you're like locked in right now already. It is early. It's 7:15, and you're like, I'm good. Let's play the game.
Yeah, this game day.
Real quick, Ravi, sorry.
No, go ahead.
How good is Chase Lofton? Because it feels like every day he gets a new offer from some power conference school.
Chase is he's pretty darn good. He's had a heck of a season for us, and he's obviously an incredible talent. The attention he's getting from a lot of different schools is very well deserved. But he's done a great job for us as well. We're super proud of Chase and super excited about what he brings to our program and excited for his future as well.
You got not just Chase, but you got another big guy that doesn't get talked about at all enough in Tommy Mechna. He's 6'3". So you have those two big targets to go to. How do you decide which one to take a shot with, I guess, because they both can stretch the field?
Yeah, we're pretty fortunate to have two guys like that can really cause problems for a defense, and we felt like it's really given us a lot of advantages. Just when you have one guy like that, it's tough, but tough for a defense. But when you got two of them, it gets really difficult pretty quick. And fortunately, we've been able to take advantage of that a little bit this year, and hope to continue to be able to do so.
So Johnny Ferguson made the transition from primarily a running back to quarterback this year, and you guys obviously haven't lost with him leading the show, but he clearly can beat you with his legs. How much of a threat has he been, and how, I guess, maybe proud are you of his development at that position in such a short time?
Yeah, Johnny's been a team first guy since day one. He's done whatever we've asked him to do. And I know a lot of guys say, hey, I'll do what's best for the team, but Johnny's really walked that walk. When we needed him to start at linebacker last year, he started the season as a safety. We felt like we needed more speed at linebacker, so we went to him, and he jumped in both feet first and had a tremendous year at linebacker for us. Obviously was a tool for us on offense as well. That's probably what I appreciate about Ferg the most, is just how willing he is to do whatever the team needs him to do. He's the kind of guy that, if we went to him on Monday and said, hey, we need you to play some center, he wouldn't bat an eye, and he'd just do it. He's just that kind of guy. So he's had a really good season, and I think that he's really developed as the season's gone along. I think that, especially in the passing game, I feel like he's taken a really big jump here the last few weeks, and he's done a tremendous job. Super proud of him.
Coach, just, as we we're looking at your schedule and how you've gotten to this point. You haven't had a ton of close ball games yet, but you have to imagine if you're able to win tonight at Bennington, that's probably a game that's going to go down to the wire. How do you prepare your guys in practice for situations that maybe they haven't encountered yet during the course of the season?
It's a great question. Our goal in practice every week is just to make things as difficult as possible. We want to stress our guys as much as we can, so that, we make things really difficult and kind of crank the pressure up so that hopefully, on game night, things feel somewhat relaxed. I know that isn't always the case, but, we've had some really good practices over the last few weeks, and that's just a credit to our seniors and their leadership as they've gotten this group ready and kind of led the way. So, the other thing I think that's, a positive for us is we were a fairly young team last year, and we played a number of close ball games. So we've got a lot of guys that have been in those kind of games. Maybe not quite as much this season, but they have been through that and know what it takes to win games like that.
You guys are averaging just over 31 points a game. Bennington's averaging 29 points a game. Is anyone touching 30 tonight? Because in my opinion, I don't think it's going to get that high.
I think that Bennington they got a heck of a football team, but I think they play really good defense.
Yeah, tremendous.
I like to think we're doing all right there too. So points may be tough to come by tonight. The weather might have a little something to say about that as well. But I think it's going to be a good football game.
It's going to be like an old school Class B, just grind it out type of game.
Yeah, it might be. I do think that whoever's able to establish a run game, they're going to be in the driver's seat.
Coach, as you get ready to face Bennington all week, obviously everybody knows they're on this huge winning streak. How do you get guys to focus on who that team is tonight and who they are right now versus what they've been over the course of the last couple of years? How do you keep that from kind of seeping in?
To be honest, we just haven't really talked about it. And I don't know that that's been intentional. I think it more so just has aligned with our philosophy of how we've approached the entire year. With our message to our guys every day in practice is it's about us, and it's about how good can we play, how good of a team can we be on a given day in practice, on a Friday night, whatever that looks like. And so that mindset's really served us well, and our seniors and our players have really adopted that. So we're kind of to the point where we're just worried about us and getting as good as we can possibly be, and obviously we prepare as best we can for our opponents. But we haven't really talked about it that much, to be honest.
I'm going to stick with the Bennington theme here. Number 2 for them is awfully good at outside linebacker. How do you stay away from him? Because they use him. I mean, he can play in the box. He can go out. He can play corner if they need to. Safety is all over the place. Do you kind of try and go away from him? I mean, they got other players that are pretty good too, but how do you game plan for a player that's that dynamic on the defensive side?
Well, I think the most important thing is you need to know where he's at all times, and kind of like you said, Mike, how are they using him?
Mm-hmm.
On a given series, given down. But that's the most important thing for us, whether you're choosing to run away or run at a player like that, whatever that may be. It's, the thing that we've talked to our guys about is just knowing where those kinds of players are at all times, and how that relates to the play call.
And their quarterback can really use his legs, off platform throws, and kind of, it's like the high school version of trying to be Patrick Mahomes a little bit sometimes. So how do you defend that real quick?
I think that pressure is important. Hoping that our D-line can get home and make him uncomfortable. That being said, he does an excellent job outside of the pocket and impressing, like you said. So we just got to make sure he's accounted for. That's the biggest thing for us going into tonight is we need to make sure that he's accounted for on extended plays, scrambles, things along those lines, because he's a heck of a player, and if you don't account for him, he's going to hurt you.
That is Sam Stanley, head football coach at Elkhorn North. Good luck tonight, Coach.
Guys, thanks for having me.
Yep, see you tonight.
Coming up next, we will have Matt Turman of Omaha Scut for more high school football on Hurrdat Sports Radio.
We will be back. 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 You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Radio. It's the Friday Coach's Corner.
This is a process that we're going through. And although we're looking for the winning edge, shortcuts aren't one of them.
Hello? This is what the greatest thing about sports is. You play to win the game.
Can you believe they called that play?
I formation, quick 141.
94, fullback banana, hot right.
Round left, wide, nasty, 16 lead pass.
Just what were those coaches thinking?
They are who we thought they were. We let them off the hook.
On the Friday Coach's Corner.
Hey, the spot! He's up here, sir.
You misplaced the line of scrimmage, you bunch of dummies.
It's the Friday Coach's Corner.
Welcome back to Hurrdat Sports Radio. I'm Ravi Lulla. Mike Sautter here with me as well. We are coming to you live on AM 590, ESPN Omaha, and ESPN Tri-Cities. And we are talking now to Matt Turman, the head football coach at Omaha Skutt. Coach, how are you this morning?
I'm doing great. How are you?
We're doing pretty good.
Just okay.
Hey, Coach, before we get into some of the nitty-gritty on your team and what you've got coming up here the rest of the season, are you one of those guys that has like game day traditions or superstitions or anything you feel like you have to do on a game day to feel good?
No, I'm not really that superstitious. I was never a baseball guy. on our staff, that's Verzal. Verzal is the superstitious guy. So, yeah.
Is it? Oh yeah, shorts every day. Even if it's 185 degrees out, he's wearing shorts. If it's negative 185, he's wearing shorts.
Listen,
that is for sure.
Some guys just like the look.
Nah, I'm trying to stay warm.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Coach, as we kind of look toward how your team's done this season, obviously just a couple games left in the regular season. How do you think you've improved from the start of the season until now?
Well, I think we've developed quite a bit of depth, which is nice. We are blessed with some good numbers just in terms of kids out for football, so that always helps. But we have a very deep senior class. Just there's 31 seniors on the roster, and I think that just when you've been around the program for 4 years and this is your last go at it. I think that helps a lot, and those kids have really stepped up, and we just have a lot of guys that we can get in and out of the game. Got some of our guys that are two-way players that get breaks more so than in the past few years, and then I think that's really helped us as the season progressed.
Bennett has had since getting healthy, has had a pretty good season for you running the option. How he's your son, but is it kind of neat to kind of go on this last high school ride with him as the starting quarterback and looking like you a little bit running the option out there?
Well,
he's a little faster than you were.
Yeah, maybe. No, I hope he's not listening to that.
Anyway, go ahead.
I played for my dad was my coach in high school, and he's talked to me about just that dynamic, and I look back on that just playing for him, and I remember it very fondly. And he talks about coaching not only myself but my younger brother, and how those years were his favorite years that he actually got a coach, and he did that for a long time. And I'm kind of finding out the same thing. It's hard to believe that we're in week 8 of his senior year already, I guess, but he's done a really nice job. We haven't had to throw the ball a whole lot the last few games,
right?
But I think we're completing over 70% of our passes too. So he has some accuracy, and he does run the option game pretty well. So we'll see if we can find some combination of the two that'll work tonight.
Coach, you mentioned a minute ago, you're blessed with pretty good numbers. I know that that's not always the case at the Class B level. How much do you think that helps you as you kind of go through your season, not just in sort of game by game, but over the course of the year, having those numbers has to be a pretty big advantage as well also?
Yeah, it's a really, I mean, just football is a numbers game.
Mm-hmm.
And I think one of the, with it just is in practice, when we're doing like our team offensive session, we have 2 offenses going against the opponent's defense. And so we got at least two, sometimes, if we have a third guy that's kind of rotating in with those groups, we're getting 2 or 3 guys reps against the opponent's defense, every day. And we do the same thing on defense. And so just getting those extra kids reps really helps with the depth part of things too.
Pike is a pretty good player for you, but I guess I want to talk about my guy, Maxwell Chandler. First of all, does he prefer Maxwell or Max?
Max just likes football, so you can call him whatever you want. But
he's a dude, though, and like he is. I mean, he is. Go ahead.
I guess it's kind of like a parent thing. When I'm mad at him, I say Maxwell. Otherwise, just Max. Get over here. Maybe it's just quicker. So
it's like my mom does that to me too. Like she's the only person that calls me Michael, and it is not a good. No, anyway, him though, like. Fullback running, you could use him a lot of different ways, but he's a really good middle linebacker for you. And this game tonight with Plattsmouth, well, they just want to hit you in the mouth, right? Like there's no real secrets behind what they do. How do you win the game? And he's probably going to have a pretty big game defensively, I think.
Well, we played them last year,
right.
And we knew when the game got over that we were in a physical football game,
mm-hmm.
And all those kids are back. I'm sure they're all a little bit bigger, all a little bit stronger, and they were pretty young. Our kids, I think they're prepared for a physical football game. Maxwell's one of those kids that will bring that physicality on both sides of the ball. He's a nice lead blocker. We're still in the traditional eye a lot,
right?
And we bring that guy up and kick out blocks or ISO blocks or whatever we need to do. And then on defense, him with Sam Drummond in the middle, that's a nice pair of physical, big, strong linebacking kids. And the fullback in Nebraska, Barrett Liebentritt, his little brother's he's placed linebacker in there for us too. And we have a nice 3-man rotation in there that, that's why I said kind of that depth that we can put any of those guys in there and they're all going to get the job done. So it's a luxury to have those 3.
Liebentritt is the rare fullback, right tackle, or is it right or offensive tackle? Right? Is that right?
No, he's inside backer, left tackle. Yeah, that's.
Inside. Yeah, sorry, inside linebacker. That's what I meant. Yeah, inside linebacker and left tackle.
And he's a little undersized. For a tackle.
yeah, that doesn't happen very often. Is it so? On to Plattsmouth here. So when 34 for you guys meets 44 for Plattsmouth, that's a collision. That's like two trains hitting each other, right, at full speed.
I think there's going to be a lot of collisions tonight. So it's good. I told our kids that that physicality, is something that we need a game like this where it's just going to be, hopefully 2 teams just going after each other and getting after each other on the physical side of things. And so I think it's a good preview to hopefully what happens in the playoffs.
44 for them, Caleb Adkins, by the way. He's heavy hitter, and he comes with some aggression when he plays. I'll say that, especially when he's trying to tackle you. He's coming for you. Like
that sticks out on film.
Their tackles are huge, Plattsmouth, and they like to move them around and run some power behind. They'll move one they'll just have one move to a tight end on both sides. You've probably seen that, I would think, on film and are ready for that. But how do you stop that because they're just so big and physical?
Well, the size that they have isn't really something we can replicate in practice. That's probably one of the things where we're a little lacking on size. Like I said, one of our starting. I mean, if you took their 2 starting tackles, and they would be 3 of our starting tackles just size-wise. So,
they would.
But that's just something. We do have a lot of team speed just overall. I mean, I'm not sure if we have the we don't have the Blair, Ethan Basler fast, but all of our kids can run over there. And so that's one of the things that's really blessed our defense is that we get guys to the football. And so that's what we just keep talking about. Hopefully they can only block one or two guys or one guy or two guys at a time, and the other guys can get to the ball. So,
okay. Very quick before we let you out of here, who is the best Vedral Terman athlete of them all?
Can I say myself?
Oh, wow. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah,
I love the flex, Coach.
All right. I was just saying,
good,
a lot.
Good luck tonight, and I'm sure we'll talk to you again soon.
See ya.
All right. Thanks.
Yeah.
Bye.
Matt Terman with the walk-off flex. We love to see it. Coming up, we'll wrap up hour number 1 here on Hurrdat Sports Radio.
We will be back. We will be back. We will be back. We will be back. You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Radio.
Wrapping up hour number 1 here on Hurrdat Sports Radio. I'm Ravi Lulla. Mike Sautter joining me. We've already got a couple coaches interviews in the tank, in the bag. I don't know. They're done already.
In the bag.
In the bag. I don't know. People have tanks and things.
Tank like the Jets should do right now.
Yeah, you want to go get Caleb Williams?
Yes.
Shout out to our guy Les Vogler. He's hanging out with us from Mexico. He's been listening all week.
I want to be in Mexico.
I know it's kind of crappy out.
It's gonna be cold.
It's gonna be bad tonight.
I am not looking for it.
So I didn't mind the weather yesterday because it was just warm enough before it started downpouring and all that nonsense.
Yeah, you mean
like during the day?
Yeah, during the day, like at about 5 o'clock when I was standing on a football field, it was just straight drizzle for an hour.
That
was fun.
Not that part. I meant
that
like
was
more like mid-afternoon.
Oh yeah, it was fine.
No, you were fine.
Mid-afternoon was fine.
Yeah,
like
mid-afternoon was
2 or
nice.
3. Yeah, I don't do the rain part very well.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Glasses.
Yeah, it messes
you
them
can't
up.
see.
No, you can't see anything.
So I have
you gotta
to run
go
to
like
my
the
car
hat,
and get a hat.
So to cover you have the bill to cover the glasses.
Yes. Then you have to put your camera away.
It's a whole thing.
You can't get wet.
No, you can't do anything. Yeah, it's a whole thing.
You have to be prepared.
Which you always are. You always got hats in your car. I appreciate that.
I have like 8 hats in my car on a regular basis. Rain suits.
Yeah, so they didn't end up moving any games up tonight, did they?
No.
Okay, it was just yesterday because the lightning.
And it did, like about 9 o'clock, it started getting lightning.
Yeah,
so that's why they moved.
It was a good call. By the end of those games, if they didn't get over quick, they were probably going to have some issues.
Yeah, that would not have been fun.
You're not trying to hang out for another 2-hour rain delay?
No.
On a Thursday night.
There isn't a rando's house that I can walk into.
No, but you were in town. You could have walked into your own rando house,
How did that go, by the way?
What?
Walking into the rando house.
Oh, it was great. It was awesome.
So, I mean,
people just drinking beers.
Describe how that happened.
So I was walking to my car, and a person I know, not to be named, he said, "Where are you going?" I go, "I was just going to wait out the rain delay in my car." And he goes, "My dad lives 2 houses up. Me and some buddies are just going to go over there and hang out for the rain delay. You can come." And I'm like, "Okay, sounds good. Sounds a lot better than in my car."
So it wasn't completely random.
The person's house, he had no idea who I was.
But you got an invite from somebody.
Yeah.
You had at least.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't just roll into someone's house, Shane.
I mean, that's how you make it sound.
That's how it sounds. That's how it looked on Twitter.
No, I didn't. It
seemed like you just were like knocking on doors. And
no,
somebody let you in.
Nah, it was cool. There was a lot of people in there, and they had some adult drinks.
Not you looked. You were working
during the rain delay.
Yeah,
and,
lightning delay.
Yeah, it was fun. It was cool. We watched Husker volleyball.
So in that situation, did you just get asked sports questions the entire time?
A couple people asked some questions. Yep, about some recruiting and stuff like that. And yeah, it was fun. It was good. A couple people looked at me like, "Who the is this guy?"
So speaking
of, like how I went there almost. Whew, I caught myself.
Yeah, try not to do that. So speaking of recruiting a little bit, obviously with the bye week, we saw. I think Coach Rhule was at the game you were, and Coach Foley were at the game you were at last night.
I think they went over to Millard West for the second half.
Okay.
I think so.
Everybody taking a picture with him.
There to see,
or of him, which I felt like I had to do. It's a little awkward, but
yeah. There to see his new tight end commit, Eric Ingerson.
Yeah, Eric Ingerson had a day. He didn't catch any balls, but it didn't matter because he needed a block.
He was tearing people up for Prestito.
Defense. He's a really good defensive end.
Yeah, I kind of like him. I don't know. I will
say okay. I know where you're going here, and I can see that for sure.
I'm not crazy, right? Like
no, like him.
There's something there on an edge rusher.
Him being but
especially with like what the class is made up of, in terms of other guys.
Yeah, no, I totally can see him.
It's like
eventually being
edge
a
rusher
defensive
makes
end.
more sense here.
Being a D end in their 3-4. Yeah, totally.
He's a big kid too. He would fill out well on that 3-man line.
Yes.
And he's athletic enough to still get to the quarterback.
And he is mean.
Yes. He's got kind of an attitude for it.
Yeah, for sure. I will say this. They recruited him as a tight end.
Sure, fair.
He's going to be a tight end.
At least to start.
He could switch over to defense. He wants to be a tight end.
Sure.
He doesn't want to be a defensive end. He could switch over to defense. What he is not
is a tackle.
And what he does not want to be is a tackle.
Yeah.
And they did not recruit him with being a tackle in mind whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
So whoever has that in their brain, it's not happening.
Yeah, it's something you hear a lot with big Nebraska tight
Inline
ends.
blocking tight ends.
Yes. Because you look at him and say, hey, he puts on
He can really catch the ball, though, too.
No, he's got terrific ball skills. Like he really does.
Really can.
I just look at it, okay, from what Nebraska has recruited, what they seem to not have a problem getting tight ends, right? Like that seems to be one of the places that they're pretty frequently have a decent couple of guys there at least.
Right.
And obviously the last year they brought in a really good class of defensive linemen between Prince Will and Maverick and Cam Lenhard. Like those are guys that I like a lot.
Mav's hurt. I bet he would be playing.
That he probably would be. Riley Van Poppel, which is I think more interior, but still really good freshman D lineman. So they've done a good job on that side of the ball as well. But in general, I feel like impact defensive linemen are harder to find.
Yeah, right
than
away.
tight ends,
Yeah, no question.
Right. So
early like that,
especially early, right? So that's why my mind goes to, if he is capable of that, maybe you want to see if he's willing to, if Ingerson's willing to play that side of the ball, because those guys are hard to find.
He was at the quarterback all night.
Yeah. And he's huge.
Yeah.
Because he's every bit of 6'7", right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And has a really good frame to probably put on a little bit more weight, whether at tight end or DN.
Got the perfect deMeanor.
Yeah, he's got the attitude for it.
Oh, he's
like
mean. I said he's mean. He is a MFer. How about that? Did it almost again.
Yeah, let's try not to swear on the air today.
Yeah, I'm not. I promise.
But so I look at him and I go, listen, I get you have good ball skills. I get you're a good tight end. You could certainly play that at this level or at the next level. But I kind of want you to be a DN. I get enamored by the potential of defensive ends a little bit, or defensive linemen a little bit, because you can see how impactful they can be. Not that tight ends aren't impactful, but on an every play basis, I feel like you get more bang for your buck out of a really talented D end.
Yeah, for sure.
So.
But Nebraska obviously has played 3 tight end,
Oh, yeah, not that he wouldn't play, not that he wouldn't
31,
be. I mean,
2-3 tight ends, basically every day.
Especially the way Nebraska's run their offense this year. I was convinced they were going to run a ton of 2 tight end anyway from what I saw at Satterfield at South Carolina.
Right.
That to me was definitely something that was going to be in the cards, even if the offense didn't kind of shift the way it did this year. But I really get kind of, like I said, you've seen in Nebraska, especially how many quality tight ends this state has put out just from, and you want to throw in Fedoni in as well and kind of the part of the Metro. I guess technically Iowa, but it seems like tight ends are easier to find. I guess that's my only point.
Yeah, no, I think that's more than fair.
And so if you've got a guy that can do either, my tendency would be like, let's see if you can do the harder thing before we move you to the side of the ball where it seems like Division I tight ends feel like they're falling out of trees in Nebraska. Like the last few years, they seem like they're everywhere.
He had 1 sack last night, but he's
disruptive,
harassing,
he's really disruptive
all night long.
I've only seen Papillion in person once this year, and it was at the beginning of the season against Miller North. But I've seen them on, I think they've been on the Thursday night Lights deal a couple times. Really, really good football team. And yeah, I really kind of like him on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, I'll say Papillion, they're good.
Yeah,
like they're pretty good.
I'm a big Prestito fan.
Peyton Prestito had a night.
Yeah,
man. Like they just kept giving him the ball. No, 322.
Oh yeah, was it 27 carries?
37 carries.
37. I knew there was a 7 in there.
37 carries, 322. That's four touchdowns.
That's
one
crazy.
Was a 70-yarder.
That's crazy.
Oh, hey, that's not the end of it. He started at middle linebacker and had 5 tackles and 1 solo tackle. So 6 total. He played both ways and still had 37 carries.
That's crazy.
In Class A football against prep, like not a bad
like a real
team.
like a real team. He wasn't, playing Benson or somebody where he, with one of the opponents that's been struggling this
year. Wasn't going to name a team, but you did.
I mean, listen, everybody knows that Benson's had a hard year. What do you want me to do? Like pretend like they have been the most competitive team in the world. Come on, man. Like what are you? It's not a secret.
I wasn't.
I'm not throwing anybody
You're
on the bus.
throwing some dirt.
I'm not
like throwing major dirt.
Well, I mean, listen. If you're already in the grave, what matters if you get buried or not? Like, who cares?
Wow.
Am I wrong? Like, what?
No, you're right.
Like that is what it is. Like, yeah, it's unfortunate. Obviously, you would love to see them be more competitive, but that's not what it is this year.
Yeah, they get prep next week. That's
not going to be great either. We would prefer that not to have to happen, but here we are. I don't think it's flickering anymore.
No, Bo.
I think the lights are out, Bo. Everybody's gone home.
That one is a little. We feel pretty good about.
I think maybe
they're trying, man.
I appreciate that. That's you love the effort. You love the kids that are hanging in there.
They made it the whole season.
Yeah, which is incredible. Honestly, like I'm not being facetious. That's incredible.
After their start, it's incredible.
Well, with the Lincoln North Star,
96 points or whatever,
93, 96, whatever it was, like that. Like the
fact that they've made it the whole season is.
I have an immense amount of respect for that coaching staff and those
keeping
players
it together.
And I hope it hasn't ruined football for them. Like I still hope at some level they still love the game.
Might be tough.
But it's going to be really tough. It's really hard to go through that and still have any kind of passion for the sport. But all respect to them for getting through this year because it has been brutal.
Yeah.
Coming up, I want to do some Husker midseason grades, but we're not going to do
it. They play this week?
They do not play this week.
Oh.
We're not going to do it normal. We're going to do it weird like Mike and Ravi tend to do here on Hurrdat Sports Radio.
We will be back. We will be back. We will be back. Sports Radio.
After looking over the pile, raises the arms up in the air.
To Hurrdat Sports Radio.
Snap back. Give it off to Grant. The ball. No, now the
will be back.
Raises the arms up in the air for 6 points for Nebraska.
Welcome to Hurrdat Sports Radio.
Snap back. Give it off to Grant. Leans. Didn't make it. It's going to be 3rd and goal. Boy, we had a goal line stand by Nebraska's defense. Illinois trying to duplicate that. So the ball, no, now the hands go up. It's a touchdown for Grant. My goodness, what a delayed call. Finally, the side judge, after looking over the pile, raises the arms up in the air for 6 points for Nebraska.
Kicking off hour number 2 here on Hurrdat Sports Radio. I'm Ravi Lulla. Mike Sautter here with me as well. We are live on AM 590 ESPN Omaha, ESPN Tri-Cities. We're live at the Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. Want to remind you, apologize for the technical difficulties earlier, but we are on YouTube and Twitter streaming live now as well, so you can hop in those comments the way you always do. You can also get us on the Warhorse Sportsbook hotline, 888-638-4876. Lots of good stuff here to come. A lot of high school early in the show. We'll circle back to some high school later. There's some.
I have a feeling we're going to talk a lot of high school today. We would take your calls on the Warhorse Casino phone line.
Yeah, we would. 888-638-4876. There is.
I don't know the phone number. That's why I looked at you.
Yeah, that's fine. I just say it like 100 times a day. It's fine.
Yeah. Someone has a phone call here.
No, there's.
We do.
I own.
There's some great games later on. Obviously, you got Westside Millard South is the big one in Class A. You've got Bennington and Elkhorn North in Class B. That's where our guy Mike Sautter will be
there. Yeah.
So we'll get to a bunch of those later on. We already talked to Coach Stanley from Elkhorn North. And
Ashland Greenwood Roncalli is
that's a good one.
Sneaky good game.
It's a good one. We already
DC West and Wahoo's a good one too.
DC West. There you go.
They only got one loss.
Yeah.
And it was to Boone Central, who's, everybody's clear number 1 in C1, and it was only 19-14.
Guy Connor Booth out there?
No, that's Newman.
Wrong
Wahoo.
Wrong
yeah,
Wahoo.
don't ever do that again.
That's my
They
bad.
will come at you.
I know. It's a cardinal sin.
Yeah,
there. I know.
Talking about Catholic school, cardinal sin. That was great.
Yeah, no, I thought I'd sneak that in there for you.
Shelby Rising City Cross County is a big one too, out in the East Central part of the state.
East Central, okay.
It's not Western.
I don't know where East Central is. Like, I don't know what that means. Like, where? Like, give me a.
Okay, so for me, Central Nebraska is like Gothenburg to York-ish.
Okay.
Like that's like the.
So York is on the east side of the central, of the central part of
Nebraska, basically, but I call it. So Cross County is right north of.
So it's northeast.
It's like
central.
14 miles north of York.
Okay. So northeast.
And Shelby Rising City is just past Columbus, but south of Columbus.
Okay, so that's
Kirk Tomasevich.
Barely central
Dirk
Nebraska.
Chatlin is Shelby guy.
Was he?
Pretty sure.
Oh, there you go.
Shelby. We went to Columbus High School.
Yeah, so Columbus is not. Columbus.
No, Shelby is not Columbus.
I understand
it's like
that.
20 miles south and a little west.
Right, but I'm saying as a marker.
Highway 92, baby.
I wouldn't call Columbus or anything kind of in that area central Nebraska.
No,
that's like
right.
eastern Nebraska.
I was not.
You called it East
Cross
Central
County
Nebraska.
Cross County is East Central Nebraska.
East Central doesn't make any sense.
Far East Central.
That makes even less sense.
It's the farthest east in central Nebraska.
It's the eastern edge of central
Nebraska.
Fair.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, there.
I think we landed on some common terminology there. Speaking of terminology, I decided I wanted to.
Yeah, this will be fun.
It might be stupid, but we're gonna give it a go anyway.
No, it'll be good.
Listen, it's better than by this time
I did no preparation for it, so it'll be great.
I'm excited about that for sure. I did give you a heads up on it at least.
You did. I did not prepare.
I know you were. That's what every co-host loves to hear. No, I wanted to. Well, we'll give you about a few minutes to prepare because Cody wants to talk about high school football.
Nebraska,
here.
Cody.
Cody on the Warhorse Sportsbook Hotline. What's up, buddy?
What's going on?
Just talking about football. Got some big games tonight, huh?
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. I think it's very interesting. I hope it isn't a dud. You know what I mean? Like, I hope it isn't just a bunch of blowouts. I hope it's like
no big deal.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, because that would take.
I'll probably be seeing you tonight.
Are you going? Oh, you're actually going to be outside and not.
You guys going?
Watching a game? I'm going.
Yeah, this is not a real good Pac-12 game on
tonight. So you're going to be at Elkhorn North Bennington?
Are you guys going? No.
Where are you going?
I'm going to North Southwest.
Okay,
yeah,
so
I'm going to Elkhorn North Bennington.
You'll see me tonight, Cody. You won't see Sautter. Sauter's poll was.
They came back and won that
game of the week. Won that poll. Yep, by a lot actually.
Well, look, Millard Southwest side was like 30 points ahead.
It wasn't even close at the end.
Listen, those Class B fans get after it on his polls.
It was by a lot.
Yeah, let's pause.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I was calling to your whole East Nebraska, East Central Nebraska debate. There is an East Central Nebraska conference.
Yes, I know. ECNC, yep.
Which makes no sense because it's Southeast Nebraska.
Yes, true.
Which makes no sense at all.
Well, ECNC, isn't that like Malcolm in that? Or used to be Malcolm?
No, it's like Syracuse, Johnson County.
JCC. Oh, yeah, Auburn's in there. Yep, that's right.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, it's not Central Nebraska.
So, yeah, not at all.
Yeah.
But I'm telling that I think Bobby Mills is going to that SRC game.
Yeah,
SRC
he lives in Grand Island, so that would make sense.
Yeah. SRC. Now, how many of their starters have the last name Verbka?
I don't know, but I can check. You want me to look?
Is that about 8? Because I know we got 4 Verbkas in our rankings for wrestling.
Yeah, let me look. I can look real quick and tell you how many are on the roster. Does that help you?
No, I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm just excited. We got 2 weeks left. There's gonna be a lot of playoff implications these next 2 weeks.
There's 3 on the roster, Verbkas.
All right.
So I'm guessing they all play. Some former freshman Jet.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. Jet Verbka.
Yep. And then Colin should be on there.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And I'm drawing a blank on the other one.
Coy. COY. Coy Verbka.
And who am I missing?
Like Detmer?
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. Yeah, I have no idea.
Robbie, you're going to be at the West Side game tonight?
Yeah, I'll be at West Side Miller South.
So since Rhule was at Papio last night, what are the chances he's at a game tonight?
I'll say I told some people this last night about Coach Rhule and the staff and whatnot. I would hope and/or expect them to be there tonight at West Side Millard South, just because it's such a big game.
They won't be at Gretna versus Omaha South?
Probably not. It's such a big game. There's a lot of talent on both sides. Obviously, there's uncommitted talent that they have offered. There's also a guy like an Omarion Jackson who could be eventually a guy for them to get an offer out to from Millard South, just a sophomore. So, like, I think it would be a really good, if anything, PR move
just to be there.
And maybe you can actually see Anthony Rizak play quarterback in person.
Yeah, I would expect. Yeah. I don't know who I expect to be there. I do expect Nebraska will have a presence.
I would hope.
I think at least Evan Cooper will be there. That would be my guess.
Yeah.
I don't know if the head man will be there as well. I do expect him to send some people out to Ainsworth.
Yeah.
As well. Make sure everything's all good in the Carter Nelson.
I just hope they're not not hope. But
if there's not somebody there,
hope is the wrong word,
expect.
and I need to not say. I did not mean that was not. I would expect them to be there.
Yeah. When the softball finals today?
No, state softball is going on out in in Hastings, and it's been wild because of the weather, rain and tornado warning. They had to take shelter in the Pepsi plant next door. There are 2 games. Newman advanced to finals. There's 3 games today, and they're like winner take all to get to the Monday night winner take all 1 game finals. So
so they're Monday nights the finals.
Yeah, Class A, both 2 games are at 11.
Okay.
2 games are 11. That's Gretna and Millard North play each other again. And then Papio and Lincoln Southwest. Yeah, Papio and Papillion-La Vista and Lincoln Southwest play each other again, or play this afternoon. So, and then
I thought the winner of those 2 games will play Monday.
Yeah, and Elkhorn North and Grand Island Northwest play. There's only 3. Yeah. So the 2 Class A.
All right. Well, I'll let you guys get going on this, Sautter. If you want to text me any good, 6th, 7th, 8th grade football games to catch this weekend, that'll be great. And you guys have a good day.
Yeah, I ain't going to that.
Appreciate it, Cody.
We ain't doing that. And
that's Cody on the Warhorse Sportsbook Hotline. You're not catching a lot of middle school football?
If you're
no. Yeah. All right. Well,
we're ranking 6th, 7th, 8th grade football players now. And
No.
It's just not a thing we should be doing.
I think we could probably wait till they're freshmen.
Freshman all-state team.
I think that's fair.
Not a good idea.
Let's just wait. Just wait till they're in high school at least.
Oh, that's not a good idea.
Seems like a good idea. Just wait till they're at least in high
Wait
school.
till they maybe touch a varsity field.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. Is that too much to ask?
Probably.
You don't point the finger, you point the thumb.
Yeah. Oh.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably a little too much to ask. At least wait till they get till 9th grade. That's all I'm asking.
How about let's wait until they are actually not playing JV
Nobody can
or
do that.
freshman football?
I mean, that's asking a lot.
Yeah.
That's a bunch of BS.
That's asking a lot, Mike Sautter.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I want to get into our evaluation.
Okay, sorry.
Of Nebraska. We
Off the rails.
That's all right. Cody gave us a call. We appreciate our listeners and callers. Want to give them the time. So I graded or evaluated every Husker position group, and I gave them a band in which I think correlated to their performance so far this season. And that's how we're going to grade them, because I didn't want to do letter or number grades because I thought that was a little overdone. And I didn't know that there was a ton I could add to that conversation. So I decided to do it my own way. So we'll see what Sautter thinks here. What position group would you like to start with?
Special teams.
I actually didn't do special teams.
Oh.
That's the one I didn't do. I did.
Okay. I want to start with what could be the worst bands. Offensive line.
Offensive line. All right. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Ready for this
You
one?
got music too, Shane? Are we prepared for this?
No, we're not at all.
Oh, dang. That would be more fun.
What if you had music?
No, we don't need music. It's
Yeah,
fine.
you
You can just sing all the songs that
Right, no, okay.
So what kind of music? You want some intense music?
No,
No,
Shane.
it's
I'm not talking about bed music. I'm talking about when he says the band, you play the band.
No, I would have had to been.
What is that noise?
That's somebody driving.
I think it's
Oh,
really
I was like,
motorcycle.
Is there a tornado warning?
You never know, man. It was like torrential downpour last night.
It was great. You know what I did? You know what your boy did?
What's that?
I put some fertilizer down on Wednesday night right before dark.
I was just trying to get my dogs to go to the bathroom. That's all. I was like, guys,
I
go
did
outside.
it. I was like, oh, it's gonna rain. I need to put some fertilizer. I need to put some fertilizer. down.
Yeah, no, I was just like, guys.
My yard's gonna look amazing next week.
Yeah, and it's October. Nobody cares.
I'm sorry, what?
It's October. Nobody cares what your yard looks like.
I care.
Well, as long as it makes you happy.
And it also is going to look great in the spring because that's why you do it now.
Yeah, it's fine. I've got a bunch of dogs. My yard's.
I have one dog,
never
man,
gonna
and
look
he
good.
is. There is brown spots in the back.
Yeah, no, it's. I just trying to get my dogs to go to the bathroom last night. That's all I was trying to do.
In the dirt, no grass, just in the dirt.
Just brutal. I was just trying to get them off the deck.
Okay.
Be like, hey, it's. They're like, we're not going out. We're not going out.
It's raining. I'm not going
bro.
out here.
No. So
Okay, go
offensive
ahead.
line.
Yeah.
So the offensive line is nickelback, and
Wow.
I actually don't even mean that as an insult necessarily. They get a lot of hate. A lot of people's object of their derision is both nickelback and the offensive line. But I do think there's one thing that they do pretty well, and that's run blocking. Run blocking is their How You Remind Me. People forget this, but in the year 2000, 2001, everybody thought that song was a banger. It wasn't until several years later, when everybody was like, that's all they got, where people started to hate on Nickelback. How You Remind Me is the offensive line run blocking. Pretty solid, pretty good. but everybody hates on it. Listen, it's not a bad song. Not a great band, but not a bad song. And probably,
I guess they put on a heck of a concert. And we're
I've
just in
heard,
Lincoln.
I've
For
heard
2
that.
nights sold out.
2 nights in Lincoln. Obviously, a lot of people like them still.
Yeah, boy, ain't going.
But they get a lot of hate, probably some of it unnecessary, and we kind of just forget about the fact that they are pretty good at run blocking.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the run blocking has been pretty solid this year. The pass pro needs some work, but the run blocking is how you remind me of for their original single. That's the O-line's Nickelback.
It feels okay.
Yeah, you're okay
I'm
with
okay
that?
with that. Yeah.
You have any?
Nah.
No?
I was thinking you just find some. That's a good middle of the road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a kind of a generic rock band.
Yeah.
Had kind of one song people were pretty into.
VH1 special.
Yeah.
When VH1 used to actually
what
play music
position
videos.
group would you like to do next?
Running back.
Running backs? Okay. This is The Verve. You remember Bittersweet Symphony?
No.
No?
I remember them.
Okay, good. It's
You
a
got
one.
that music, Shane?
It's a
No,
one-hit
I don't
wonder. The running back room, they only got one guy left. They're a one-hit wonder. Bittersweet Symphony, one of my favorite songs growing up. But that's all they ever did. They had one pretty good song, and that's all that's left. Anthony Grant, one pretty good running back. That's all that's left in the room. That's all we have here.
Yeah. One hit wonder. That's fair.
And
I
they, they actually didn't make any money from that song because they sampled too much from a Rolling Stones song.
Oh.
That's the running back room sampling from the wide receiver room, trying to get Josh Fleeks in there, maybe getting some runs in with Billy Kemp as well.
People. Yeah.
Yeah, they're sampling some position groups. They're the Verve.
Like that.
Which one do you want next?
A quarterback.
Quarterback. Okay, here we go. You're going to like this one.
Oh, I bet.
You're going to love this one. You ready? Are you ready?
Yeah.
See, that's a hint to who the band is.
I think I know.
The quarterbacks are Creed.
Oh.
Here, let me explain.
I already know where this is going.
What? How?
Because you're gonna say Jeff Sims got hurt, but we welcomed Heinrich Harburg with arms wide open.
Say, cut that, Shane. We got another one. Actually, that's not what I was gonna say at all.
Oh, dang! That would have been good though.
It would have been. That was pretty good. I appreciate you contributing to this segment.
See, we welcomed Heinrich Harburg with arms wide open. With arms wide open.
With arms wide open. Love it. No, so listen, Creed, not the best band of all time. I can acknowledge.
Oh, you think it is?
Oh, I don't think they're the best band of all time.
They're your favorite band.
Not my favorite band. I do like them, but that's kind of the point.
Big fan of Creed over here.
I am a big fan of Creed. That's the point, though, is they might not be the best position group of all time, but we got a Nebraska kid in there, so we've got some nostalgia and affinity for them. And listen, they do have some bangers. No matter what you say, those 70-yard runs,
they do not.
He breaks those big runs every once in a while. Those are those hits. Those are higher with arms wide open. My Sacrifice every once in a while. Listen, maybe they're not a great band, but they will pump out a hit every once in a while. That's the quarterback room. Maybe not real consistent. Maybe not the greatest room in the world. Probably not the most dynamic band, but they'll get you what you need sometimes.
They've sold out a lot of shows.
They have
made a lot of money.
They have made a lot of money.
Yeah.
They had a lot of hits.
Yeah.
I know they're not your favorite, but that's kind of the point.
I'm going to admit I did buy one of their CDs.
Yeah, it's probably Human Clay because everybody bought that CD.
Yeah, back in the day.
Everybody did.
I was in college or something.
But that's kind of the point, right?
Yeah.
The quarterback room, maybe you're not in love with it, but everybody bought that album. Like
everybody.
Everybody bought that album.
Everybody.
Those are the 70-yard touchdown runs. Everybody can get behind the big running plays at quarterback. Maybe we're not in love with the total depth and dynamic nature of the position.
We're not.
Quarterbacks are Creed.
I feel like that's pretty fair.
I think it's accurate.
That's good.
What position do you like next?
Wide receivers.
Wide receivers. This one is where I left. This is where I left the 80s and 90s. I had the 90s and 2000s. I had to go back a little further for the wide receiver group. The wide receiver group is Leonard Skinner. Here's why. There's been 18 different variations of that band. There was obviously a tragedy where several of the band members did not make it. There's been one band member who's been a member of all 18 iterations of Leonard Skinner. That's Gary Rossington. That's Billy Kemp. He's the last man standing. They're filing in a bunch of new people into that room, in and out. There's been about 18 different variations of who you're going to see on the field at wide receiver. They're Leonard Skinner. They're just trying to make it with whoever they can find.
I will tell you, I'm a big Leonard Skinner fan.
I kind of am too.
Like the original group.
Yeah,
like
right.
The very first.
The Ronnie Van
And
Zant.
And it's all because I watched their Netflix. There's a documentary on them and like Behind the Band, whatever it was called. And I was like, whoa, this is cool.
Yeah.
Like if I'm mowing back to yard here, I will sometimes throw that on and be like, all right, let's go.
I'm not going to lie to you. If I'm about 4 bush lights deep, I start singing a lot of Leonard Skinner.
What, like Sweet Home Alabama?
No, not that one. That's the most over.
I like Sweet Home Alabama. I like Freebird. I know it's not popular, but like Gimme 3 Steps is a great song.
Great.
Love that song. Ramblin' Man, terrific song.
Ramblin' Man's good.
There's some deeper cuts outside of the top 2 there that are very, very solid.
Yes. What is the one song? Why can't I think of it? It's their song that is not Simple Man.
Ooh, Simple Man's a great song too.
Yeah. Ballad of Curtis Lowe's.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
What is the one when I'm driving like distance? I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna play this song. I forget what it is. That's okay. I'll think of it later.
But yeah, so the wide receiver group, and I apologize, I meant Simple Man. Ramblin' Man is the Allman Brothers.
Yeah, that's.
I meant Simple Man. But so the wide receiver group is Leonard Skinner. They're extremely depleted, but they keep plugging along.
Hank Williams Jr.
No,
he has a better version
of what?
Simple Man.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Oh, I'd fight you on that.
Shane, I like my chances against you in a fist fight, to be honest. I think I could take that.
All right, I'm walking away.
I think I'll be okay.
I'm not. Yeah, I can do more push-ups than Shane. I know that.
That's all right. All right.
Selfish.
Let's do one more
Not
position
true.
group here, and then we'll pick this up on the other side.
Okay.
Next one.
Tight ends.
Tight ends. They are. See, this one I thought was pretty tricky. Okay. This was a hard one for me to figure out. I decided the tight ends are in sync.
Oh.
Here's why.
The band.
Yeah, NSYNC's a band. It's a boy band. Are you not familiar with?
Call Me the Breeze is the song I was talking.
Call Me the Breeze. Okay.
Call Me the Breeze.
So with the tight end group and NSYNC,
Keep it moving on.
yeah, there's a group of guys there at that position. You got Borkacher, you got Fedoni, you got the kid from Papillion.
We got some hits.
Lindenmeyer.
Luke. Yeah.
You got kind of Bonner in a sort of hybrid role there. Yeah, there's a group of them. But one of them is significantly more famous than the rest of them.
Hey, Travis in the stream said, come on, we all know Shinedown does Simple Man the best.
Very
true.
That is a very good.
Very true.
That's a terrific cover.
Yeah.
One of the few covers that I like better than the original.
Very true.
Yeah, so you've got a group of tight ends there, but one of them, Thomas Fedoni, significantly more famous than the rest of them. And it's entirely possible, and I kind of tend to believe
Joey Fedoni.
Maybe. That's Joey Fatone, not Thomas Fedone.
I know, but it kind of.
I fully believe that his best days might be after he leaves this group, goes on to the next part of his career, kind of the Justin Timberlake solo career.
That's good.
Is Fedoni moving on to the NFL?
Comparison.
See,
I like that.
That was a pretty good. I was proud of that one. That one took me a minute to come up with. We will finish our position group rating system coming up next on Hurrdat Sports Radio.
We will be back. 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 You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Radio.
We're halfway through the show here on a Friday. Hurrdat Sports Radio. I'm Ravi Lulla. Mike Sautter here with me. We're brought to you today by Rockbrook Camera. Rockbrook Camera is not just about selling you a camera. They're about trying to make you the best photographer you can be, whether you're a professional like Mike Sautter trying to take pictures of the great Nebraska high school football scene, or if you're just trying to capture moments from your life and want to share them with your friends and family. Rockbrook Camera has you covered. They can even give you support after the sale with online class or with unlimited classes to help you learn about your new equipment. They've got the latest technology such as mirrorless cameras, and you can trade in your old gear in order to upgrade. Go check out rockbrookcamera.com or 168th and Center in Omaha, 70th and Pioneer in Lincoln. They have got you covered.
I'm a big Rockbrook camera guy.
Yeah?
Yeah.
There you go.
I've spent some money there.
Yeah, it's because you take some terrific photos,
they're
videos.
okay.
I think they're good.
Like, they're sometimes.
Do you think the offensive line has gone to Rockbrook Camera because they're Nickelback and they want to look at this photograph? No, no, not doing that. Okay, all right, just moving right along here.
Probably not so much.
We are
know what that.
Halfway through the show, and we're also halfway through our.
Halfway feels like we're
Well, we've done all the offense. We haven't done the defense.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So,
right.
I mean, technically
So now we
halfway,
wanna do
there's
the
more
defensive
position groups on the offense. But
Yeah. Now we want to do the defensive side.
yeah, let's do the defensive side of the ball.
Okay, let's just start defensive line.
Defensive line. All right. I've got Matchbox 20.
Oh.
Yeah, they're they're good, but their catalog runs a little deeper, I think, than people realize, and they actually age pretty well.
Gosh, I bought their CD too. Oof.
I expect
I'm
this
embarrassed to say that.
young. I'm not. They're actually not bad. You go back and listen to them, really solid early 2000s, late 90s rock.
VH1.
Like maybe you don't have a Ndamukong Suh on that line that really sticks out. That would make you like a transcendent talent in that group, but very solid. They're a young group, much like Matchbox 20. I think they're going to age well. And they're deeper in that line than you remember. You know, you've got. I think at the start of the year, we're like, man, if you don't get much out of Ty Robinson, and you know, I don't know what we're going to have on that line. There's like 8 guys on that line that you feel okay about now.
True.
Deeper catalog than people realize. Matchbox 20,
and it's always 3 a.m. somewhere.
It's 3 a.m. I must be lonely. No.
Wow.
All right.
Please don't do that ever again.
Your defensive line.
No.
Matchbox 20.
That's good. Decent comparison. I like it.
Yeah, see, Coach Rhule agrees.
I forget. Yeah, Matchbox 20 did have some.
They had some good songs. You think of a handful now. I was kind of looking through some of their like Billboard hits. There's like 15, 20 of them. There's a bunch of them.
Wow.
And off the top of my head, I was only thinking
What's
of
that guy's name on Matchbox 20?
Rob Thomas.
That guy.
Yeah.
Rob. Yeah.
He had a couple okay single songs as
Man,
well.
he had that middle of 2000s hair.
Oh yeah,
going.
He had that hair,
like where you push it down.
Yeah, the kind of like the sweep across.
Yeah, but no, he had the push down version.
Yeah, like
gelled up,
right,
pushed down,
right on the top of the eyebrows there.
Yeah,
yeah. I felt like it had like a
I did
little
that
sweep
little
to
bit
it too at the end.
I'm not gonna say I didn't do that.
I mean,
I grew up in that era.
Oh, absolutely.
Frosted tips and everything.
That was one of my biggest fights with my parents. Was they wouldn't let me.
You wanted frosted tips?
They wouldn't let me do it.
Really?
Yeah, they would not let me do it.
Yeah, I did. I was in college, so I did whatever I wanted.
Apparently, I was like middle school, high school, so I had more restrictions on me.
Yeah, I went to the salon to get my frosted tips.
You're like, I got my own money. I'm getting my tips
like
frosted
every 2 weeks ish.
I also would have been okay if they let me do the Slim Shady, like full blonde look was big too.
Yeah, I was never doing that.
So I also would have been okay with that. But my my parents insisted, and this is actually true. I've learned.
I have photos of me with frosted.
I think I'm going to need to see those. I think we need to see those, and we might need to post those on the internet.
No, we're not.
Sasha, if you're listening, I need you to get on this. We need to find the photos of Sauter's frosted tips and get them on the website
somewhere.
No, it was apparently Indian hair is really hard to dye blonde.
Yeah.
And I mean, because it's like jet black hair, and you have to go through like several stages of it to do it properly and not like fry your hair. Which I didn't know at the time. I was just like, hey, I want to look like my friends and have blonde hair. And yeah, my parents were not about that life. So I actually thank them in retrospect because there are no photos of me with that particular style of hair, but I was very disappointed at the time.
Yes, Travis. I also had multiple puka shell necklaces.
Oh, I love puka shell necklaces. Still, I'm waiting for him to come back. Right, all the '90s stuff is coming back. I'm just waiting.
I mean, I had a lot.
Listen, because of my skin tone, puka shell necklaces look great on me.
I had a lot.
I might just start wearing them anyway. Just
bracelets and everything.
Yeah,
yeah.
So I did like the hemp bracelets.
Yeah, for sure.
That was a big deal. And then I had the puka shell necklace.
I had the leather bracelets. I
wasn't a big leather bracelet guy, but I had the little hemp ones that you had your friends braid or whatever.
Yeah.
I had those, and then the puka shells were big for me. It was really big for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Linebacker.
Just reminiscent about the 90s.
I don't. It's so bad.
Linebackers. All right. Linebackers are Third Eye Blind.
Okay.
They're
Third Eye Blind, probably the best band that you've mentioned today.
They're
outside of Leonard Skinner.
They're a little forgotten in that era, though.
Yeah, Third Eye Blind was actually pretty good.
They are. See, that's the exact point I'm making here. The linebackers, pretty good. Probably deserve more credit than they get in terms of how they've performed on the team. Third Eye Blind probably deserves more credit as a really good band from that era.
They were pretty good.
They had some terrific songs. They had one album where they had like 4 or 5 singles that were really good on that one. I can't remember it's the Semi-Charmed Life album, whatever that one was.
Yeah.
They had like 4 or 5 really good.
Third Eye Blind was
very good, kind of forgotten and overlooked in the era. Much like
Semi-Charmed Life. Yeah.
Much like the Linebackers, I think they deserve a little more credit. So there you go. There are your Linebackers.
Motorcycle Drive-By.
They are Third Eye Blind.
That was 97.
Yeah, it's like late 90s. Yeah. So yeah, Third Eye Blind, Linebackers. I was proud of that one. I thought that one was quality.
Jumper's
a great song.
That was good.
Yeah.
That's a really good song.
Right? Absolutely. And they're all on that same album. Like that Semi-Charmed Life album is super good and really deep.
Yep.
Much less like the Linebacker Crew.
Yeah.
Way more personnel than you think. Always performing. Luke Reimer goes out. We don't even, hardly even notice a drop off.
Yeah.
Underrated and overlooked, but very good.
Yeah.
Third Eye Blind. Last one, secondary.
Secondary.
You ready for this one?
I have a feeling this better be good.
Well, I hope it is.
Okay.
I've got Goo Goo Dolls for the secondary.
Wow.
What do you got?
Speaking of frosted tips.
Yeah, Johnny Resnick had some frosted tips. And he's the one that had the big sweep. It was like pasted down on his forehead and the big sweep across like one eye. He was rocking a very much like Tobey Maguire Spider-Man 3 look, just with the frosted tips, though, not the emo quite as much. Here's why I went.
They had a lot of hits.
They did have a lot of hits. So they're a very good band, and people kind of expected a lot from them, and they delivered a high-quality product. Me personally, I thought they had maybe a little more upside than they ever reached in terms of overall like popularity, and they were very popular. I thought they could have transcended to be kind of one of those almost a Coldplay level band in terms of the quality of their music, their popularity, all of that. They never quite reached that. That's kind of how I feel about the secondary. Obviously, Quentin Newsom's a really good ball player. We like Malcolm Hartzog, but remember Quentin Newsom, first career interception last week.
Yeah.
He's maybe underperformed.
He's had plenty of chances.
He's had chances. Maybe he's still very, very good. Maybe just a tiny bit underperformed. Goo Goo Dolls, I don't know that they reached their ceiling as a band. Had a very, very good career, still performing, still doing really well.
Their popular songs were extremely popular.
Yes.
The Twister soundtrack was great. It had Long Way Down on it.
Yep.
The remix.
It's
fantastic song.
Terrific band. Very good catalog.
Black Balloons, good one.
Black Balloons is incredible. Iris, really great song.
Iris is probably their most popular one.
Yeah. They have a cover of Give a Little Bit that I'm a huge fan of.
Oh, yeah. I forgot.
Originally by Supertramp. But
whoa.
That's the name of the band. I don't know what you want me to say. That was the name of the band that originally sang it.
That's a great band. Breakfast in America is a great album.
But I think in terms of longevity, overall popularity, maybe even their ability to continue to pump out hits, maybe not quite as good as some people expected.
They were good for
for a chunk,
long time.
So I got secondaries Goo Goo Dolls.
Yeah, I feel like they were just playing in Vegas.
They're still playing shows. They're still and they're still good. I heard them come up.
Good.
They're still very good. So those are your position groups.
Good experiment.
Listen, it helps me think about.
Should do it with real music. We should do it with hip hop one day.
Let's do it with hip hop.
We'll do it next.
I'm not prepared, but we're gonna go.
I'm not either.
More on Hurrdat Sports Radio coming up next.
We will be back. We will be back. We will be back. We will be back. Welcome to Hurrdat Sports Radio.
Chiefs have been inside the 20 4 times in this game. Shotgun snap. Caught near side. Touchdown! Kansas City. Kadarius Toney on the quick out, and the Chiefs finally break down the door and take some nectar.
We can go through these growing pains and try to get better and better, but I mean, the talent's there. You can see it in spurts. We have to learn how to sustain drives, getting down the red zone, score touchdowns, and make it easier on our defense to play a little bit more free.
Wrapping up hour number 2 here on a Friday on Hurrdat Sports Radio. I'm Ravi Lulla, Mike Sautter here with me, and want to tell you about our friends over at Big Brothers, Big Sisters. They have this mission to support one-to-one mentoring relationships that ignite the power and promise of youth. You can go to mentoromaha.org to sign up to become a big. You can also go to mentoromaha.org if you want to get involved in other ways. You want to donate some money. If you've got tickets to events that you want to donate, so matches can go and experience different things, you can definitely do that. You can invite them to your business so they can learn about what you do, or you can sponsor or participate in upcoming events. mentoromaha.org is where you find all of those things to get involved with Big Brothers, Big Sisters. Wanted to switch gears here a little bit from Nebraska to the NFL. Obviously, the Chiefs won last night. I believe they have not lost to the Broncos since 2015.
Well, Patrick Mahomes never lost to him.
Yeah, he's 12-0, but the Broncos had lost 3 in a row before Patrick Mahomes even played for the Chiefs or before he was the starter. So they are 0-15 in their last 15 games against the Chiefs. They have not beat the Chiefs since 2015. That's a long time. I believe that
feels like the Jets and Patriots. Actually.
Is that pre-Peyton Manning?
Maybe.
No, that's
Peyton
just after. That's just after.
Yeah, Peyton had to beat.
Yeah. Because Peyton Manning was like 13, somewhere in there. Yeah. Whenever the Broncos won their Super Bowl, that's the last Peyton Manning year, right? So it's been a hot minute for the Broncos, though, in terms of them not having any sort of success. 2016, yeah. So that it would have been during Peyton Manning's
16 straight.
16 straight. Oh, excuse me. I thought I said
Travis on
15
on the stream corrected us.
So that was
Or you.
corrected me.
Yeah.
So 2016 is when they won their last Super Bowl. I think it was following the 2015 season. So that would have been
this NFL slate is not great
this weekend. No, it's not. I did want to talk about
who had Bucks Lions as the star game of the weekend.
Listen, 4-1 against 3-1. They're ready to go.
Before the season started.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised that the Bucks are functional at all. I didn't think the Baker Mayfield thing was going to work out.
Yeah,
I think that's an understatement. You know the funny thing? So around I think this time last year, it was when the Rams signed Baker Mayfield, and he played on I think Thursday night, like 2 days after they signed him.
Yeah.
That was
wild, and they won.
Yeah, and he was pretty good.
I may or may not have bet against him that night.
Yeah, I mean it's probably a pretty good bet, but
maybe I did a DraftKings play that was not
taking all the unders on Baker Mayfield's numbers.
Yeah, or taking the defense that they played. Anyway,
but the funniest thing about the whole Baker Mayfield thing is I actually really wanted the 49ers to sign him.
Wow, why?
Because this was pre-Brock Purdy being anyone.
Sam Darnold's fine.
No, last year.
Oh, before that. Okay.
When the Rams signed him last year.
I was like,
you know how I feel about Brock Purdy now. He is, we love Brock Purdy, but last year, this was, I think, right after Garoppolo got hurt, or right around the time Garoppolo got hurt. We didn't know Brock Purdy from, Tavares Jackson. We had no idea what he was going to be. And I was like, at least with Baker Mayfield, he can probably keep the train on the tracks with all the weapons and the defense and everything. I was kind of just hoping hey, maybe it made sense to me at the time. And now I look back, it's like, well, I'm glad Kyle Shanahan knew what he was doing, although it did take him 2 season-ending injuries to get Brock Purdy on the field. So maybe I shouldn't give him too much credit on that one. But I really am very surprised that the Baker Mayfield thing has worked out in Tampa so far.
He's doing a nice job.
He really has.
Todd Bowles was, Jets head coach, and I actually liked him because he's a really good defensive coach. But I think their defense is so good.
Yeah.
And it has been for a while. And there was a lot of questions about the defense. I think the Bucs offensive line is actually pretty good too.
Yeah, and they have some weapons on offense.
Well, Mike
Evans is, when he's healthy, I think he's banged up a little bit right now. Yeah,
he's always kind of banged up. But how many teams in the NFL would take Mike Evans?
Oh,
everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Every team in the NFL takes a healthy Mike Evans. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So they've got a pretty nice structure around him. So it makes sense that you could, if you're a functional quarterback, you can be successful there. But I guess we didn't really know if Baker Mayfield was a functional quarterback.
We didn't really know if he could. Yeah.
If he could be that guy, if he could kind of just be a game manager, don't make mistakes, just keep it on the track type guy. But yeah, it's outside of that. There's, your Jets play the Eagles.
Chris Godwin
is good.
Is really good.
Yeah, he's very good.
Yeah.
You've got, Colts, Jaguars for the AFC South are both 3-2.
The Minshew Bowl.
The Minshew revenge game.
It's the Minshew Bowl.
You've got the Vikings and Bears both 1-4 at the bottom of the NFC North.
Brutal right now.
Seahawks Bengals might be okay if the Bengals got it turned around.
There's a lot riding on that game.
For the
Bengals.
For the Bengals,
they
absolutely
have to win.
They need to get going in a hurry.
They pretty much have to win it.
Yeah, they need to get things in gear because
if you're 1-3, after the first 4 games, the odds of you making the playoffs are 6%.
Yeah, that's not great.
The Jets without Aaron Rodgers have better odds of making the playoffs than the Bengals right now.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't put money on that. I'll take my chances with Joe Burrow.
I'm just saying.
No, I know, like statistically speaking,
Yeah,
right?
like it's.
I get that. I will take my chances with Joe Burrow over Zach Wilson, though. I think I'm okay with that.
Duh.
So
Jets play the Eagles. That will be real. That's afternoon game again.
Yeah,
I'm loving all these afternoon games.
You like the 3 o'clock window?
Yeah.
You're not a big noon window guy?
No, I am, but I'm just used to watching my New York Jets
at noon
play at noon all the time, and not in the afternoon or at night, and it's kind of fun to have a real football NFL team that you root for.
Well, I mean, calling the Jets real seems maybe a bit aggressive.
Expectations were
they're a very good. Their roster outside of the quarterback spot is really good.
Well, the offensive line is not great.
Fair,
but their best offensive line got hurt last week and tore his Achilles and is out for the year.
Really good defense.
Elijah Tucker.
I like their skill position players on offense.
They can't get them the ball.
Can't get them the ball, which is tough.
Except for Breece Hall running back.
So QB and offensive line.
Dalvin Cook looks like one of the worst offseason signings in
not great,
history.
But Breece Hall
He's
maybe
averaging
looks
about 0.2 yards a carry or something down.
I'm pretty sure you could get that.
You could probably get a little more than that, but it isn't great. For $10 million.
Not ideal. But Breece Hall got back.
He's getting paid
healthy.
the same amount of money that Saquon Barkley is.
Well, Saquon Barkley's not playing either right now.
Well, that's different.
No, Breece Hall a little healthy, a little sooner, maybe a little faster than expected. Look good.
I mean, yeah,
about right. Like he looks really good.
He's a dude.
We like Breece Hall.
All these people threw dirt on him.
Who threw dirt on Breece Hall?
A lot of people.
I think you're just making it up.
I'm making it up.
You're one of
it was a lot of people.
You hear like one person who's a hater, and you're like, everybody's
like,
saying we're out.
We need a running back. We need a running back. No, we don't.
I think
we're good.
It was early in the year. It was reasonable to want someone else as he kind of got back in
the offseason. They were like, we need him.
Yeah, I think it would have been nice to have if like Dalvin Cook was functional.
He's not right now.
He's not, but it would have been nice for him to kind of bridge that gap between, hey, Breece Hall is not really ready to play 100% of the snaps or whatever his normal number is until now, where he appears to be a full go.
Yeah,
would have been nice if Dalvin Cook was decent. So I understand wanting to sign a running back there. You maybe should have signed another quarterback just in case he's. But
if the draft was today,
they signed Trevor Siemian.
If the draft was today, what?
Minus a quarterback, what would the Jets be wanting?
Offensive line. Yeah,
for sure.
Any position, guard, it doesn't matter. Center,
it doesn't matter.
All of them.
All of the above. Anyone. Pick one.
You need to trade.
How about not another defensive lineman? Not another project defensive lineman.
Yeah. Well, that's the problem when you have a defensive head
out.
coach. Is they want their defensive linemen. They want those guys.
I mean, the Jets defensive line is amazing.
No,
it's really good.
It's a really good unit. The defense in general is a really good unit.
Really good. The defensive line.
I mean, they're no 49ers, but they're fine.
The defensive line is really good.
They're no 49ers, but they're
super deep.
Well, maybe.
I mean, maybe.
They're like the Tupac of the NFL. Just it goes way deep.
See, I got you thinking about
what they're living in Italy right now.
That's not true, Shane.
Shane
not alive.
Shane is a deep believer that Tupac is still alive. Although his murderer or his alleged murderer just did get arrested recently.
Yeah.
Finally, after almost 30 years.
Not living in Italy, Shane.
Probably. Have you been to Italy? You don't know.
But
you don't know.
It's not.
You didn't go searching for him?
I'm not gonna either.
Give me Dre over Tupac anytime.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Usually you hear
it's a hot take right there.
Usually you hear the Biggie versus Tupac argument. You don't hear a lot
Biggie only had one album.
Yeah.
And it was like two good ones, but like they didn't have a bunch of bangers on them.
Yeah.
Now it's still like a fan.
Well, it wasn't his fault.
Well,
not Tupac.
No, duh.
Not Tupac's fault either.
Golly. It wasn't his fault.
Yeah,
he got murdered.
We know, Shane. Coming up next, we're going to get into some high school football. Some more high school football. Staying in Sauter's sweet spot here.
Big night.
Get some more information on this huge Week 8 slate of games.
Monster matchups.
In the hour 3 on Hurrdat Sports Radio coming up next.
We will be back. We will be back. We will be back. We will be back. You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Radio. This weekend, it's Nebraska versus nobody.
They know who we are. We know who they are. So to me right now, the goal is for us to go 1-0 this week.
They've got this.
They're tough. You know, we went out Sunday night. Somebody said, was Sunday night worth it now? And they said, yeah, 100%.
Nobody's coach doesn't even have the words. Nebraska versus nobody.
Also, there's not a team that can't beat us. And there's not a team we can't beat.
Nebraska sure as hell won't lose this one.
I don't know what else to do other than to say what I just said.
Nobody's DC isn't much for words either. Nebraska can even put the ball on the carpet, and it won't matter.
To me, it's all technical. It's about covering the tip of the ball and keeping the ball high and tight.
Nebraska versus nobody is going to be lit.
Take the hand of Harvard's got it. 20, 15, 10, 5, dives, touchdown, Nebraska.
Then you're cooking with gas.
In all seriousness, enjoy the other Big Ten games. Maybe reintroduce yourself to your kids. Catch up on some yard work. Do some laundry. I mean, you got all the time in the world, my friend.
Kicking off hour number 3 here on Hurrdat Sports Radio. I'm Ravi Lulla, Mike Sautter here with me today. And Nebraska might not play anybody this week, but there's certainly a lot of high school action on the slate tonight. Want to tell you, before we get into some of our other stuff, want to tell you about our News Channel Nebraska NCN Game of the Week. And it is number 6, Hastings St. Cecilia, who is at 6-1 against number 7, Fillmore Central at 7-0. It's one of the top games in Class C2 of 2 of the state's top teams. TV coverage starts at 6:45 p.m. on News Channel Nebraska. You can watch in Omaha on Cox Channel 116 or statewide on providers like Allo, Spectrum, and Dish. They have you covered. You can also stream the game online at newschannelnebraska.com. You will need an NFHS subscription to stream it online. If you've got one of those cable providers, Cox, Allo, Spectrum, or Dish, you should be covered there as well. That is your NCN Game of the Week. Sautter, your Game of the Week.
Is I got a question. Where do they get those rankings? Is that their rankings?
I believe that's their rankings. Yeah,
okay.
I believe NCN does some.
I didn't know it was our rankings.
Internal
their
rankings. So those are their
show.
rankings. Yeah.
Okay.
Listen,
I'm just saying. I don't know what
they want to do.
That's fine. I'm cool with that.
It's gonna be a good game.
I'm cool. Yeah, sure.
Do you think? I mean, where's your? Where do you have a discrepancy with the rankings that you think?
No.
Okay.
We can talk about later.
All right. Really appreciate the NCN coverage of high school.
No, they do a good job.
Central,
they really
Nebraska.
Do. No, they do. They cover like basically the whole state on stuff like that. They do a good job. They really do.
Absolutely. So make sure you check out their Game of the Week tonight. Your Game of the Week that you're out at is Elkhorn North and Bennington. We talked a little bit earlier with Coach Sam Stanley of Elkhorn North. One of the things that always interests me about, and we've had, it seems like a lot of them in the last few years of these new schools opening up.
Mm-hmm.
Seems like we went kind of a long time in between. Obviously Millard West opened up in like the mid 90s. You had some Lincoln schools open up over the last handful of years, but it seems like in the Omaha metro area, you've had several schools open up in the last 5-10 years. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, it's fair.
I guess when you're kind of trying to evaluate, I know it depends a lot on where the school is opening up and things like that as well. Obviously Elkhorn North having a lot more success than, say, Buena Vista at this point, right? That's a dramatic understatement.
I mean, yeah.
But I guess, so how do you evaluate, with a newer school like Elkhorn North? Are you kind of just looking at, okay, where are the kids coming from? Are they transferring in from, or are they getting transferred from some of the other Elkhorn schools? Like, what's your process when you're trying to figure out, Elkhorn North is going to be pretty good? Like, how do you kind of go through that?
I look at the demographics of it.
Sure.
That's the main thing. Yeah.
So Elkhorn North is taking most of their kids, would have gone to Elkhorn.
It's all new. Yeah. No, but that's all new development stuff up that way. So that's why.
But previously, where was
it was Elkhornish. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they can't take it from OPS or anything because of district lines. So.
Right. So it would have been an Elkhorn.
Yeah, but all that, they build a new school because it's all new housing and new development out that way.
For sure, yeah. I was just trying to figure out, because Elkhorn South,
same thing, Gretna East is the same.
So Gretna East is a lot of kids kind of on that, like,
Tiburon
area, 168th and 370, that sort of part of town, which has exploded. Obviously up northwest where the Elkhorn North kids are from.
You have Westview and Elkhorn North.
Yeah.
Like kind of.
Well, and
at the same time.
There's sort of you get too far north, you kind of end up in Bennington.
Mm-hmm.
So there's
little
several
pocket.
Yeah,
right
there's
there.
several schools kind of going
Yeah.
from those demographics there, and that's kind of why I wondered.
There's a lot of houses up that way and not a lot of services.
Sure, right. But I wondered because there are, like you mentioned, several high schools in that area. I did kind of wonder how much of that section and population would actually be going to Elkhorn North because you have Bennington, Westview,
Well, you
and
can't.
Elkhorn there too.
You can't. Elkhorn is a closed district, so you can't opt in.
You can't opt out of.
You can't opt into Elkhorn.
Right.
South, north, or high.
But you could have opted into Bennington.
You can opt.
From
You
those.
can't opt into Bennington either because they are. They
Packed.
don't have any room for anybody
Yeah.
at all. Like that's why they're trying to
that's a
pass
part of-
another bond issue finally. I mean, hopefully it gets passed. I mean, there's no more room for them to add
that's
on
another
to.
part of the town town that has exploded.
There's no more room for Bennington to add on to the school itself. I mean, they're going to have to.
So are they trying to build
use
another high
portables
school?
outside, and they have tried for a long time. I don't know. I mean, people just must not want it. I think there may be. I don't know. I don't know why.
Do we have like a Texas State high school thing where they don't want to split the high school or what?
No, they'll be good. Like they'll still be in Class B. They'll be good. Like
Right. So
I don't know. I don't know what the holdup is, but I don't know the details of it. But Bennington doesn't have anywhere else to go. Like there's no more physical space on that high school campus for that. They can't go up anymore.
Yeah.
They can't go out anymore with the building. They've added on to it numerous times. They're going to have to be in portables here pretty soon.
Yeah, which is obviously not ideal, but
Yeah.
it does happen. We had some portables when I was in high school.
Well, yeah, I know, but I just
you obviously you want to.
I don't think I think they should be. Yeah.
Try
They
to-
have land bought and stuff like that. So,
Okay.
yeah.
So Elkhorn North and Bennington, you think?
I think it's going to be a really Elkhorn North Bennington. I think it's going to be a really competitive game. I have a good feeling about that. Whoever establishes the run is going to be key. Jet Tinglehoff is going to have a pretty good night for Elkhorn North at running back. He's pretty good. I don't know how much either team's going to try and throw it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess the wind's at your back. It depends on the
What the
direction of
weather
the
and
wind.
stuff is
Yeah.
doing tonight.
But I think it's going to be fairly low scoring.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anyone touches 30. I think it's like a 17 to 14.
I would say
17 to
maybe
10.
nobody touches 20.
Yeah, like it might be a 20.
Especially if the weather doesn't cooperate.
I mean, maybe if there's a turnover, it gets to like 28 to 14 or something. But like, I think it's going to be pretty tight. Defensive game for sure.
So Bennington, obviously on that super long winning streak, but not
33 in a row. It's a lot.
Haven't looked invincible.
They almost lost one. Beginning of the year.
Well, and then
Ask
the
Scott.
second game was 28-20, I think.
Yeah.
They played a couple close.
Their
ones
defense
early.
is phenomenal. Bennington's defense is phenomenal. Can't
Phenomenal.
talk. Yes, phenomenal. And with Coach Stanley, we were talking about Kyler Lordson is the guy I was referring to, number 2 outside linebacker. He is a stud. He is all over the place. They use him a bunch of different ways. He is an excellent wrestler, which means he is a great tackler. I mean, you're not getting by him. He was, as a sophomore last year, he had over 100 tackles. That's pretty good.
Yeah, not
yeah, that'll work. He is great. Gunnar Lim is another guy for them that is a safety. He's a good athlete. He's committed to North Dakota. So yeah, I think it'll be pretty interesting. Elkhorn North has the size on the outside with Mechna and Lofton. I think they're going to try and run it. Sam Thomas, his health is maybe a little bit of a concern. He had an ankle a couple weeks ago against Grand Island Northwest that he missed at least the second half with, and he's committed to Northern Iowa. He's a big piece of what they do up front at Elkhorn North. Yeah, I think it's going to be a Jet Tinglehoff. If Elkhorn North is going to pull off the upset, I guess, it will be Tinglehoff's going to have a good night.
It's any whoever,
and he's got some speed too. He's pretty good athlete.
Whoever ends the Bennington streak, it'll be considered an upset, even if you can make an argument that.
Yeah.
It will be right. You can't win that many games in a row.
Yeah, sure, you could say
like
that.
I know that on like on the field this year, maybe you feel like Scott's at least even with Bennington, right? So maybe wouldn't have been an
I mean, they
upset.
play. Yeah, when they played it
dead
came
even.
down to that.
Controversial call at the end of the game.
Yeah, you could say controversial.
I mean, it is, right? Some people.
It was.
Yeah, that's what a controversy is, right? That's kind of the epitome of it.
Probably should have not been a touchdown.
It didn't look like a touchdown. Listen, I know the angles weren't perfect from the cell phone video. It didn't look like a touchdown.
It wasn't straight on the line.
Right, so it's really hard to tell, but it didn't seem like he got that close either. So
Quentin Archer for Bennington's averaging over 100. He's 130, almost 2 yards a game.
So who
running
do
back.
you?
So
I mean, do you put Elkhorn North on the same level as Bennington? Or are they kind of just below?
yeah, I think so. I think in Class B,
Yeah.
I think there's the 4 teams, and then kind of everybody. Then the next level,
So Elkhorn North's got Bennington and
Waverly.
Okay.
Waverly's good.
So
Their defense is really good. They got a
Platt
bunch
Smith
of
is on
athletes.
that next tier.
They're right there. We'll find out tonight.
Okay, because they've got Scott tonight.
Yeah. This is a big prove it game, right?
For Platt Smith?
For Platt Smith, their 1 losses to Bennington.
Same thing for Scott.
Yes, and it was 28-20.
That's that second game of the season, right?
Like
those are the only.
I am
teams,
telling you, Platt Smith will hit you in the mouth.
those are the only 2 teams that have played Bennington close this year.
Right.
It's Scott and Platt Smith. And
Correct.
They played.
Well, York was 17-6, but York always plays close games because
Yeah.
they rely on their defense heavily.
But those are the only 2 1-possession games.
Yeah, that were close.
Were Scott
Yeah,
and Platt Smith.
Yeah.
So Platt Smith wants to smack you in the face. You said
Yeah,
they've got-
Caleb Atkins,
got a
number
couple-
44. If you're going to that Scott Platt, like that guy
He's gonna hit you in the mouth.
will. Yeah.
Yeah.
Him and Max Chandler, who's I believe 34 for Scott.
That you got
who
Maxwell?
plays fullback and linebacker.
Yeah.
They both play like running back / linebacker. They're going to have some collisions.
Yeah.
And it is going to be violent.
Yeah. So that how?
I
do
mean,
you-
they smoke people.
What do you think makes the
Good job.
difference?
Good job, Mike, not cursing on that.
Yeah, I know.
What you can kind of see the wheels turning. He's like,
Yeah.
gotta search for a word I can say on the air. What do you look for to be the difference in Platt Smith and Scott?
I think the team speed on
Scott's
the
a little bit
outside.
faster.
Scott's faster. Yeah, they're deeper, they're faster. But I will say
So if Platt Smith can keep that game,
it needs to play in a box.
between the
Yeah,
hashes.
it needs to be played in a
in the-
box
yeah.
for Platt Smith to win.
in between the tackles.
Their
that's
and speaking of tackles,
Yeah.
their 2 tackles are
legit.
monsters.
Yeah.
Orion Parker is 6'7", like almost 300 probably.
Big dude.
Huge guy.
Yeah.
Huge. The other
Especially-
guy isn't small either. Like they are tough
Yeah.
and physical, and they will move. Platt Smith will move both their tackles. They'll move them around. One will play tight end, and they'll just run power right behind those 2 guys, and it is really hard to block. Or really hard to stop that.
I kind of like that idea of instead of like splitting them up, putting one at left tackle, one at right tackle. You know, if you're not in pass pro, that's not necessarily
Yeah.
that helpful to waste a guy on that side. Probably maybe a little bit not what you want to do from a guard in terms of the size
Yeah.
and ability.
No, they move the
So you
tackles
kind of
around.
do the Teddy Prohaska thing that we
Yeah,
saw
exactly.
earlier this
Yeah.
year,
Mhm.
where you line him up as sort of an offset tight end there, and
That is exactly what they will do.
and have home. You just and running behind those 2 guys in high school, that's something else.
No, I mean we're talking Orion Parker's 6'7", 265 listed at. That's probably about right.
Okay, so that's that's a big dude.
Yeah, he is I would say Division I prospect. I think for sure. Dylan Eby's another guy that 6'2", 260.
That's a good size guy.
Yeah.
You just line up right behind them and just run it all day.
Isaiah Hamilton is 6'3", 250.
Big dude.
They got some big dudes.
So and there's that's going to take a toll over the course of a game.
But
Right?
that's
Like
what I'm saying. Like they have to play it in a box.
Yeah,
though.
if they can keep it in that,
Like
in
it
the
needs
box.
to be like they need to be real
Like in a phone
comfortable.
booth. They want to play that game in a phone booth.
They need to be real comfortable 3 yards at a time.
For those
Like-
people that are under the age of like 30, a phone booth is a thing that you used to have where you could call people in the middle of the city.
Yeah.
Super,
the biggest
Superman
big game
used to
though.
change it one. Yeah, the biggest
we
big
should
game
probably
is
talk about.
West Side Millard South.
A lot of hype since the
well,
start of the season. I think.
Well, since the start of the season, and then it really escalated
after week 2, 3. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think after
Bellevue
Millard
West
South,
lost,
after
couple.
Millard South beat up Elkhorn South pretty
Yeah.
bad in a weird game, but
it really started kind of.
the momentum started going, and then it really escalated about 3 weeks ago when I think it was Cool from Millard South
Dylan,
says,
yeah,
says,
KUHL,
hey,
yeah.
we're the
Best team.
We're the best team in the state. We're the best defense in the state.
I mean, hey, I don't knock that kid.
I don't knock him.
Be confident.
No, but it did kind of escalate things, I think, from a hype standpoint, right?
That's all like the dumb parent motivation stuff that like, oh, we'll see. I'm going to text my kid this.
I call it the Dion stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but if you're a high school kid and you hear another high school kid say that from the other team, like it probably does get under your skin a little bit. And listen, whether it's real or not, it did elevate the hype of this game, I think, to a new level because I think I don't think it's reasonable to expect high school kids to view it this way, but I think a lot of us in the rest of the state are like, it's West Side and then everybody else. And then to have somebody just come out and say like, hey, we're not just going to.
Oh, they're confident. They're not going to lay down.
We're not just going to stand in line behind West Side. We think we're just.
I have a pretty good feeling. I don't know this and haven't asked him, but I have a pretty good feeling that Coach Wisdom at Miller South maybe been sandbagging a little bit.
Holding some things back? Or what? What do you mean?
Yeah, a little bit.
Like holding back
some play calls and stuff. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
okay.
Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen Millard South twice this year.
Millard South's defensive line, I said this at the beginning of the year, their defensive line's phenomenal.
Really, really good.
Yeah.
But you think, I mean, they have looked a little vanilla on offense at times.
Millard.
At times.
Westside also has the equalizer to that defensive line in a quarterback and Anthony Rizak that can
really, really
beat you with his feet.
Yes.
And his arm.
It's going to be really hard to make Westside one-dimensional because of Anthony Rizak.
Don't know if you can.
That's what I mean, right? Like you may be able to take away Ross, right? You might be able to take away Jamez in the traditional running game. You're not taking away.
They just need to be patient with Jamez tonight, I think. Yeah, just like kind of chug. Yeah, stick with the
incremental.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But you're not taking away Rizak's legs.
No,
that's not a reasonable ask.
No.
And if you take away his receivers, his legs are definitely going to beat you.
Yeah.
So that's where it gets really tough. I mean, I know that there's a lot of.
It's also one of those things like Keenan Cotton, I think, could have a big night. If the weather isn't a factor, allows it. I think he could have a big night because he could get some separation and all that.
Yeah.
Caleb Benning obviously is a heck of a player. He's great.
He's the best player in the state. Yeah.
He's the best player. I don't know why people even bother to.
He's the best player in the state.
Yeah.
Like I mean,
if you want to argue that, you just haven't watched him play, or you feel some type of way.
Yeah, or you've got like
you got a vendetta or some like, sort of a,
or you're from Ainsworth. Our guy Carter Nelson. And it's like, hey, that's why Carter Nelson's awesome. That's terrific.
Or your brother's playing somewhere and you just
there's something.
You've got a dog in the hunt. Somewhere
There's a dog in the fight.
I like to go hunt. I'm not big on dog fighting.
Oh,
yeah.
Anyway,
but no, Caleb's the best player in the state. So maybe they load up on Caleb. Maybe I know Christian Jones has been playing a lot of offense.
Yeah, Trevor Spady's another guy. On
they've got a lot of weapons that maybe leaves, like you said,
Keenan Cotton's the guy that gets overlooked a lot on that team,
and he's
good.
He can go.
He's really good.
I mean, that's a track star family.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
he can go.
Mm-hmm.
So that's gonna.
He had a heck of a night against Bellevue West. I know that.
Oh, he for sure did. That's a guy that could be really interesting. I guess so on the
Miller South's offense, by the way. So Marion Jackson gets a lot of love, and rightfully so, because I think he's
really, really good.
He's really good,
and he's just sophomore, right? So he's going to get a lot better.
Yeah,
probably.
I said in our podcast that Jacob and I did. I'm not sure everyone watched it, but you can go back. We dove into the game a little bit more, and even more than that. But Jackson's going to be a guy.
Oh yeah.
Tonight might be a little tough, but if he can go off tonight.
If
he goes off tonight, just give him whatever.
Give him all the offers. Give him all the stars.
Yes, right.
Because he's not going to probably face. I mean,
he won't. He'll
never face the rest of his career a defensive
high school
backfield.
career. No,
that's what I mean. Yeah,
no
in
way.
His high school career, he will not face a defensive backfield that's anywhere close to what we're talking about tonight.
Nope.
And so, I mean, even like Okafor is going to walk on at Nebraska.
Yeah.
Like that's a really, really good defensive back room. He's never going to see anything like this in high school again. If he can even hold his own tonight, like that's send the offer immediately. Like go ahead and just get that thing done, because
this is what we said on the post game podcast. We said this, and it's old versus young in spots.
Yeah.
So Millard South's offense is young,
pretty young.
Like their best guys are young. They're sophomores. Like quarterback, sophomore.
Yeah, Jet
Jamal is gonna be real good.
I mean, he's already pretty good.
He's good. Yeah, like,
and he's gonna continue getting better.
Yeah, like
versus a lot of seniors on
West Side, especially defensively in the back end.
So that's going to be
a guy
really
like Bo Ryan's going to have probably a good night for West Side too, because he's a really good high school football player. Gabe Prucha has done a good job filling in for Nolan Feller. Feller's been out for a while, and I don't think I would imagine he probably doesn't play tonight. Had a meniscus like week 2.
Yeah,
so we're a little. I think they're probably waiting.
Maybe for playoffs.
Yeah, I would save him a little bit. It's just gonna be how can Millard South score?
Can they score enough? Here's my question on.
I'm not saying they're gonna be shut out. I'm just saying can they score
enough to keep up? Because West Side's definitely gonna score, as we saw all freaking year. Here's my question though on
that defensive line though
on matchups. So that the Millard South defensive line is the West Side offensive line. How are they going to handle that defense?
Well, again, I think the fact that Rezak's legs are so like he can run around and
super
move
mobile.
in.
Yeah,
I think that's an equalizer to that.
But can they give him enough time?
J.R. Laquana and Aiden Miller are really good. Max Gray is another good player up front for them. Like they're really good. And Cade Nolan might be. Here's the equalizer on defense for them. Mm-hmm. So Cade Nolan is a really good wrestler in high school, the Millard South. He plays outside linebacker for them. He can run and he can hit and he has an edge to him. Maybe he's the Rezak stopper guy.
Kind of
or it might be Dylan Cool, who's had a really nice year at kind of safety linebacker. They can move him around a lot too. They got good athletes at Millard South too, specifically on the back end of the defensive line.
So maybe just have somebody almost as a permanent spy on Rezak to kind of help neutralize the legs as much as possible.
Maybe,
but that does take a guy out of coverage, right?
Yeah,
which is not great.
Not great.
So that's the trick there.
So that game's obviously deservedly so, rightfully so. I think getting a lot of
game of
the hype
game
and
of the year.
A lot of talk and all of that, and what happens tonight doesn't
mean anything.
Doesn't end anyone. Yeah, it doesn't end anyone's season, and
probably decides the number 1 seed.
Yeah, I feel pretty good about West Side even locking that up.
You think anyway?
At this point with the wild card points, I think that's probably a little.
I'll say I thought with a loss it might drop him out.
Yeah, no, maybe. I guess I haven't looked that deep at the points, but I feel like they're pretty far ahead right now.
Fair enough.
Which, by the way, okay, real quick, the 8-man bracket will come out tomorrow. 8 and 6-man playoff bracket will come out tomorrow morning. I will be live in Lincoln on Strive. You can watch the bracket reveal show 8 a.m. for the 8-man bracket, and next Saturday will be the 11-man bracket. We'll do the same in the bracket reveal show live from Lincoln, and your kind of first drop, kind of like to do March Madness brackets. We will break down the brackets.
All right, coming up next, Jerry Allen. We're going to get into Oregon and Washington, the game of the week in college football on Hurrdat Sports Radio.
We will be back. 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 You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Radio.
And Bo with a snap. And I hand it off to Bucky again. Gets through a big hole. Cuts outside a straight arm. To the 5. He'll get it to the 2. And touchdown, Bucky Irving. Here's Bo. Wants to throw. Inside throw. There's Holden. Ain't no doubt about that. Great route. Great throw. Tremendous catch. And another touchdown, Oregon.
Welcome back to Hurrdat Sports Radio. I'm Ravi Lulla. Mike Sautter here with me as well. Going to talk a little bit of college football here. If you want to get in on the action this college football weekend, head on over to Warhorse Sportsbook. It is the best place in Nebraska to place your sports bets. You can do it live, in person, at the casino. Plenty of kiosks, plenty of tellers. Also, you can build your bets on the Warhorse Casino app. You just have to go to the casino, scan the QR code to place those bets. They've got live lines, pro and college football, basketball, and baseball. As basketball season gets going now as well. They've got live odds. Also, go over to Warhorse Sportsbook and check them out. Joining us on that Warhorse Sportsbook hotline is Jerry Allen, the play-by-play voice of the Oregon Ducks. Jerry, how are you this morning?
I'm excited. I'm good. I'm ready to go play some big-time football this weekend.
Yeah, you've got an enormous game, top 10 matchup, and, you got that Pacific Northwest rivalry going up there with Washington. Really the first, Colorado was ranked at the time that Oregon played them, but really the first real test for the Ducks this season coming up tomorrow.
Yeah, it's really kind of the first real test for both Oregon and Washington.
Sure.
I mean, we've all played some decent teams. Duck's toughest game probably was down at Texas Tech when they had to go on the road and fell behind and came from behind and won that ball game. Washington really played some solid football, blown some people away, but haven't been up against a team like Oregon, and Oregon hasn't been up against a team like Washington.
As a Big Ten country type person here, obviously both of these teams going to end up in the Big Ten next year. One of the things that I keep telling people is I actually think Oregon is really well suited in the way they've been built by Dan Lanning to make a fairly smooth transition into the Big Ten. Is that kind of been your perception as well with the way they've built kind of from the inside out with the lines?
Yeah, it is. I mean, he came from Georgia, defensive coordinator there. You know how good they are, and what he built there. And he's got the game plan together to put together the people, the size, the speed, and what he wants. And he's done it rather quickly. The transfer portal really helped that. If they had to have that, he'd have taken 2, 3, maybe 4 years through the recruiting through high school to build that. But he's got the pieces together, and it's very Big Ten-like, even SEC-like. Not what we used to see in the Pac-12. Size and speed and great offensive line play.
Playing at Washington in a game, a huge rivalry game like this, I'm not sure people that live where we do appreciate the rivalry that this is. But Husky Stadium's a really tough place to play, or can be when it's, rocking and loud and all of that. How difficult is it to play in? I guess I've never been there. I've only seen it on TV, but how big of a challenge is that for Oregon this week?
It's probably about as big as there is. It's very much like going into the shoe at Ohio State. I mean, it's big, really big. It's multi-level decks, and they're on top of you. The east end is somewhat open a little bit to Lake Washington, which is a beautiful setting, but it is loud. It is noisy. I mean, they are. I don't like Washington fans. They're so good at what they do. They're very much like Oregon Autzen fans. They get into the game. They are educated about the game. They know when to get on people, and it's fun. It's a great atmosphere. I know it's the Washington fans, but it makes the game fun, and so I'm looking forward to heading up there.
But both offensive lines have been tremendous, I guess is the word, flawless, whatever it might be so far this year. Doesn't really feel like there's an edge for either one, I guess, on the offensive line standpoint. So how do you stop Michael Penix? What's going to be the key there?
Well, if you could call me back on Monday and answer that question, it'd be a little easier. It's going to be pressure. He's got 3 of the best receivers in the nation. Roma Dunze is just magnificent. He's going to play at the next level. Jalen Polk and Jalen McMillan. Those 3 just make it really tough on the back end of your defense. And you can't play zone very much because they're going to find the opening, and Penix is going to find them, and then they just work their way down the field. The pressure on Penix is going to be the key. Oregon's got to be able to get a little bit of pressure on him and not give him time and not give his receivers time to run those routes. Jordan Birch, an outside edge, Brandon Dorless, a true freshman, Mateo Uiagalelei, and Tatum Tuioti. And Bryson Betcher is a linebacker, along with a safety who's just been driving quarterbacks crazy, is Evan Williams. He's got 2 sacks this year and about 5 hurries. So they're going to have to come from everywhere. Under control. Penix is not a great scrambler, so you just got to stay in your lanes, but get pressure. Win the line of scrimmage and don't give him time to throw. That's the magic.
You brought up his name, and we're familiar with him because played at Lincoln Southeast for a little bit while his dad was the defensive line coach in Nebraska. And then there's another local guy on our angle is Devin Jackson from Omaha Burke. Those 2 linebackers. I guess give me a grade on how those guys are doing. I guess I'm just checking in on those former guys that we used to see on Friday nights here.
Talented,
Devin can
football
actually
IQ.
run, right? Like he can really fast, but go ahead.
Oh yeah, no, and it's just they're the kind of players that you need to have on a team to build what you want to play against the big boys. Right? Used to get guys that were maybe 2 and 3 stars at Oregon, and if you got lucky once in a while, you get a 4, and then you'd spend 2 years to build them up, get some weight on them, try to get them a speed game, and then you'd get them for a year or 2, and they were pretty good. These guys are coming in ready to play, and that's the difference. They're ready to play. Dan Lanning says it. If you're good enough, you're old enough. Doesn't matter how old you are. When you're ready to play, you're a part of what we're doing.
Jerry, I wanted, a lot of the attention goes to Michael Penix, and rightfully so in this game. But the career of Bo Nix is fascinating to me because it felt like we had a pretty good idea of who and what he was at Auburn. Then he gets to Oregon last year, takes his game to a whole new level, and you go, oh, maybe there was a ceiling there on Bo Nix we didn't see. And then this year he seems to have elevated even further. I guess what were the expectations of Bo Nix when he got to Oregon, and what's been sort of the reception and feedback on him now that, you're a year and a half into the experience and it's gone probably better than anyone ever could have thought?
Well, it's one of those, it's not a gamble, but it's recruiting, so to speak. I mean, you're looking at players and you've watched what they've done, the tools they have, and how they play. Oregon played against Auburn when Bo was a freshman, a true freshman, and Auburn beat Oregon. He played really, really well. So I think Oregon knew at the time the quality of kid he was. And then he had a tough time at Auburn, and it wasn't all on him. He probably made some bad throws, bad decisions, didn't manage the games as well as he could have, but the entire team plays into that, and the coaching staff as well. But the quarterback takes the brunt of that from the fans. When things don't go well, you're going to blame the quarterback or the head coach. So he was feeling pressure, and he just was not himself. So when it came time to be able to leave and play 1 or 2 more years somewhere else, he knew about Oregon. A lot of kids do. And Oregon knew about him and said, hey, come on out here and get a new start. And I think the new start is what did it. He's always had the tools. He's a great person, one of the nicest people that you'll ever meet. So he makes a trip out. The pressure he leaves behind. He gets married about a month before the first game in Oregon. So he matures, and I think that's the biggest thing. So less pressure, matures, and the team just accepted him. And with the tools he had, it was an automatic fit. He is just he's pretty special. He's a guy that if things go well, and this game on Saturday is going to have a lot to say about that, could find himself in New York. He definitely is a candidate to be the best player in the nation.
Jerry, real quick here, we've only got about 30 seconds left with you, but you've been the play-by-play voice for Oregon for over 30 years. I guess just what's it been like to watch this team go from kind of just elevate levels, under Rich Brooks, they, got Achilles Smith and then Joey Harrington, and then you get into the Mike Bellotti, Chip Kelly era and everything like that. Just what's it been like being along for that ride and seeing this go from, kind of an afterthought program to one of the premier programs in the country?
It's been unbelievable. It's been blessed. I mean, it's like watching one of your children grow up from a kindergartner to a first grader, to a junior high schooler, to a high schooler, to college, get married, and have a family. And you're along for the ride. You get to see it, and it's just thrilling. And that's really the way it's been.
Jerry Allen, thank you so much. We'll talk to you again soon.
I appreciate it. Thanks.
Wrapping up Hurrdat Sports on a Friday with Matt Burzall coming up next.
We will be back. We will be back. We will be back. We will be back. You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Radio. Now let's find out what Matt Verzal is better at. Telling stories or making pizza.
Matt.
Matt's an exceptional young man.
Matt Verzal.
Happy birthday, Matt.
You know, Matt, he's a tremendous athlete.
Matt Verzal.
Come on, Matt, I'm with you.
You know, like Matt Verzal, you're one of the sexiest people in the world, but you're not one of the most beautiful. How does that happen?
Here is Matt Verzal.
All right, Matt, thank you very much.
As we do every Friday, we are wrapping up the show with Matt Verzal, our guy, former Husker, owner of Paisans Pizzeria. Verz, how are you this morning?
Good, boys. How you doing?
I haven't been in there. I feel like it's been a minute. So I maybe need to swing by for lunch. You open for lunch today?
No, we got catering today. So
I almost did it again.
Open at 3.
I was close.
Shayna's got a drop button.
I know, but I need those wings.
You know, I've never had
my
those
favorite.
there.
You know, he knows my order. I order the same thing every time.
Yeah.
So, but they're like baked wings or whatever. What do you do to them there? The wings?
The buffalo oven bakes.
Buffalo oven bakes is what I get. They're fantastic. I get them. No, I don't do the ranch and the celery or none of that. Just give me the wings.
I am a big ranch
We don't
guy.
have celery, so you ain't missing out there.
Well, whatever, carrots or whatever. I don't need all that.
Don't have that either.
Okay,
Homemade ranch.
I don't need the ranch.
The ranch is elite, I have to say.
It is good.
It is
but
very high quality.
I just eat it like it's made to be.
Every time I go
plain.
in there, the staff brings me like a bucket of ranch because they know I'm about the ranch life on the.
I also
pizza.
only get hamburger or beef or whatever pizza. That's all. I get. Yeah, see.
Hamburger is the only way Mike can go.
Yeah.
I will say you did bring me around. I was a little hesitant. I always used to get the pepperoni, but I finally went in on the Omeo Dio, and I've never looked back.
No, that's an easy switch.
I can't do all
That's
that.
a good call by you.
It really
Can't do
is.
all
I
that.
was a little hesitant on the cream cheese, but you set me straight. You were
Can't
right.
do all that. No, not for me. Anyway. Hey, you got a big game tonight.
Yeah, it'll be fun when it was an exciting game last year. It'll be an exciting game this year. If you come out to Moylan, 44,
yep,
61, and 73, all for Plattsmouth. And they have a lot of other great players too. Those are just the ones that are in the area I'm coaching, so I know most about them, and they are about that life. They like the hitting, and they're tough ass kids from Plattsmouth, man. They play hard.
44 and Maxwell Chandler will be meeting each other in collisions, and it will be amazing.
Yeah, should be good.
Yeah.
He 44 did some damage last year, so we're well aware of where he is.
Yeah.
Vers, I think Plattsmouth, if they had their druthers, would play this thing basically inside of a phone booth. That kind of seems like right up your alley. That seems where you want to live too. Are they kind of playing into what you want to do there?
You personally?
Yeah, you as a
offensive line
preference.
Coach. Yeah.
Don't get it twisted. Like they'll establish what they want to do, and then they can spin it. So I mean, they run their ground base, but in their play action game, it's really good.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of discipline, a lot of trust. Our interior guys gonna have to be good on both sides of the ball, and we have to tackle real well. They run hard, so it's for what I consider football to be, not what the new wave of football wants it to be. This is football. Like, this is how you play the game.
You gotta love it. You gotta love it when they send an extra tackle to line up as tight end, right?
Well, they just play tackle over. They'll move one over, and their tight end is on the other side. So, yep. So they're not bringing in a third one.
Right.
The way that they go, I mean, if they got some big ass kids, man. Yeah. They got some big dudes. They got 6'4", 250. They got 6'7", 280. I mean, they're making them down there right now. So, all respect to the Blue Devils, and can't wait to get to 7 o'clock. Hopefully, I can make it over. We're not too swamped at Pisons.
Yeah, I'll be at the other Class B game tonight. How do you think that one goes?
Man, that would be interesting. Elk North's got everybody healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Bennington's Bennington. I mean, you're the king until you're not the king, and they've traversed this schedule and they've won games, and so it will be. Man, that's a tough one.
It'll be like.
I tell you that. I think it's either going to be like 14-10 or 42-35. Like, I think it could erupt, or it could be good defense, field position. I don't think you're going to get like a middle.
Right.
Like a 24-17. I think it's either going to be a shootout or it's going to be a slugfest.
To Husker football question here for you. Mid-season, bye week so far in the season, I guess, grades. Who's graded out? What position group is graded out the best to you, and why?
I would say position group. I made that tough for me. I would say it's the secondary was a close second to the linebackers, and a very, very close. Like, I would be 1A, 1B, and 1C because the way the defense is played, and from an organization that had a hard time understanding where their help was coming from, or even tackling in the open field, to now tackling well, but also knowing if I position myself here, my helper is coming from this angle. So all I got to do is make this dude go that way. And that's hard to do. And so I think A, B, and C, they've done a very, very nice job. And you're rounding into a good part of your schedule where you should be able to continue to build on that and then build the foundation of the new Nebraska football on the
black shirt tradition and defense.
Vers, on the offensive side of the ball, I know it's really easy to point out kind of the negatives and some things that haven't gone well. Is there anything on the offensive side of the ball that you've been encouraged by halfway through the season?
It's tough because things will look good, okay, and then you have a breakdown.
Mm-hmm.
Things will look good, then you have a fumble. Things will look good, then you have an interception. Things will be in rhythm play calling wise, and they will just randomly throw something in. So it's very hard for me to find something offensively because I think so much of that should be handled by now. And I went through the other night and I just found on YouTube you can find Coach Schultz's old running back drill. And whomever is carrying the ball, they've got to realize that it's great you're making a cut, but that ball needs to be with your 5 points of pressure in the middle of your sternum when you're making said cut. It worked for LP, it worked for Clinton Childs, it worked for Almon Green, it worked for Damon Benning, it worked for the Macavickas, all 47 of them. It just works. So it's great. You want to show your jukes and your moves, but the best job security is ball security. So if you can just hold on to the football, that's awesome. So I struggle to find anything offensively to dive like highlighted by. If you need an answer, the stability, well, he screws up snaps. I can't. I'm going to say the stability at the center, but you got snaps rocking off sometimes. So.
And I don't know, maybe it's frustrating, I guess, to me that where's like the 1 foot in the ground go guys at running back? Where have they gone? Like, why are we not doing that more? You know what I mean? Like, just foot in the ground, bang. Like, just bang it.
So if you look at how they run, right? Okay, you throw running backs in to the dumbass 7-on-7 league, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you swing the ball to them, and then they got to make 7 moves to try to make a linebacker look stupid so they can put something on Twitter or Instagram. When in reality, your bread is buttered going north and south. Like your juke moves are sweet, but there's no repetition of it in the off season where it's, again, YouTube, Frank Solich drills. 1, 2, 3, cut. That's it.
Yeah.
First quarter, you're going north and south after your third step. Okay. Second quarter, you can make 1 additional move. Third quarter, so now you've run them over in the first. You've made another move in the second, and now you can go. Now you do whatever you feel. But it's coaches at all levels try to eliminate the feel for the kid. Okay. There's natural instinct in kids to either run through or evade. But the coach will micromanage it and say, no, cut outside here. I'm like, well, number one, you got to rep that. So you got to do a lot of drills with cutting. But number 2, you're telling him not to trust his vision.
Right.
You're telling him not to believe what his eyes are telling him. And that's not natural.
Yeah.
Like when you get free-flowing running back, it's poetry in motion. They're 2-3 cuts ahead. But we don't let them do that when they're coming up through it and learning it.
Okay. We had Coach Terman on this morning, and
what term though?
And I asked him who the best athlete of the entire Vedral Terman clan was, and he said,
"Oh, he said himself."
Exactly.
He did say
he
himself.
did. Do you agree or no? We have 20 seconds.
But no. He's lying. It's the attorney. The women are far more athletic and talented than the boys.
His sister is probably the
She was like a world-class hurdler.
Right. Yeah.
Like Olympic caliber.
Yeah.
Like he ain't Terminator Olympic caliber, nothing. Other than that.
That's Matt Vers. We appreciate it as always. Good luck tonight.
See you, boys.
Thanks.
That's our friend Matt Vers. All to wrap up the week. We'll be back next week with Hurrdat Sports Radio.